trail, depicting how one boy's faith could lead him to be king of Israel. David will be released in theaters just in time for Christmas on December 19th. But your family can get a head start by watching the prequel to the film, Young David, which is streaming exclusively right now on Angel. It's perfect for the entire family and has memorable music. So once you join the Angel Guild, you can start watching Young David right now and prepare the fam for the David film in theaters in December. And by joining the Guild, you'll guarantee 2 free tickets to see it. And it's a great value. Let's be honest, going to the movies isn't all that cheap. But if you're a member of the Angel Guild, not only do you get those 2 free tickets to David, but you'll now have access to every single film or TV series on Angel at your convenience.
All right, coming up on American Sunrise Early Edition, Minneapolis. Is the Holman phase underway? ICE continuing to target violent criminal illegal aliens. Arrests are rising and tactics are shifting. But behind the numbers, a political and legal battle is intensifying. What comes next? Straight ahead. Meanwhile, stunning fall from grace. Former vice president candidate and governor of Minnesota, now Tim Walz, says he's done. No more runs for public office ever, as a massive fraud scandal pressures from both sides. And one independent journalist with a camera changed it all. How it unraveled, straight ahead. And in Georgia, the FBI agents are on the ground in Fulton County. Search warrants executed. Election records seized. All the epicenter of the 2020 election. This is American Sunrise Early Edition, and it starts right now.
Welcome to American Sunrise Early Edition. The show where faith, freedom, and the values that built this nation take center stage.
You people and others like you built this country.
Join us as we break down the stories that matter.
FAFO.
If you don't know, now you know.
American Sunrise Early Edition on Real America's Voice starts now.
All right. Good morning. Happy Friday to everyone. I'm coming to you live today from Los Angeles as this city prepares for one of its biggest events of the year. That would be the Grammy Awards, hosted just by Trevor Noah, just a few blocks from where I'm at right now. And of course, Los Angeles has seen its fair share of controversy and dismay. We've had the Palisades fire about a year ago. Around this time was the Palisades fire, at least the aftermath of it. And of course, you've got a big mayor race here in Los Angeles. You've got Spencer Pratt, who's put his name in the hat, and Karen Bass, the current LA mayor. So lots going on in this city. And of course, you've got even Dr. Oz, Mehmet Oz, has been doing some really, I would call, investigative journalism, driving around certain areas here in Los Angeles Metroplex, kind of looking into the abundance of hospices. And perhaps that's on the tail of the Somali fraud that we saw there in Minneapolis. So Dr. Oz really, taking to the streets with his camera and exposing dozens of hospices in the same area, some without any kind of real business activities going on. So that's just one of the actions here. And of course, the Grammy Awards on Sunday night. I'll pay close attention to that. All right, so much in the news right now. Weather-wise, we're still dealing with continual snowstorm. Right now, let's turn it over. We talked about that bomb cyclone that we reported yesterday. We're tracking the same dangerous winter storm system that's taking aim at the East Coast right now with heavy snow, bitter cold temperatures, damaging winds, all in the forecast. And joining us with that is meteorologist from Weather Nation, Tracy Anthony. Tracy, what's the very latest on this bomb cyclone?
Good morning, Brian. We have some news with this coastal low. The latest model runs starting to push this system a little farther offshore out into the Atlantic. However, we will still have some major impacts across the mid-Atlantic. So as this low develops into the weekend, you'll see we are expecting it to get rather strong. So this could be a bomb cyclone or a cyclone that rapidly intensifies over 24 hours. And as it does that, it is going to bring some of the major impacts to North Carolina, Virginia, South Carolina. And then as it lifts to the north, we will still feel the wind and even have the potential for some moisture along the shoreline. But like I said, it is starting to shift a little farther to the east. So the impacts across the Northeast and New England will definitely be isolated to more of the coastal regions. But for the mid-Atlantic, look at this. Widespread winter storm warnings. So we have the cold air in place. This low is just going to pump in the moisture, and that's what's going to wring out a good amount of snow. We are talking very impressive snowfall rates that could cause slick travel. Keep in mind, it's been extremely cold. That snow is going to stick to the ground rather quickly, and we'll max out right around 5 to 8 inches of snow with kind of that bullseye between Raleigh, Charlotte, and Columbia, South Carolina. So we do have some winter storm watches in place for areas like Nantucket, Martha's Vineyard. That will be in place from Sunday into Monday. So that's as that system does lift to the north. But the snow expected to start here this afternoon and evening. We are expecting heavy snowfall rates through the overnight into the day on Saturday. And then as this system continues to lift up the coast, it's going to shift a little farther to the east. So the coastal areas, their biggest impacts will be the wind and the surf instead of the heavy snow. Back to you, Brian.
All right. Thank you, Tracy. I know that in D.C., if we have a live look at the cold temperatures there in D.C., I know for a fact that a lot of people are having a hard time getting back on the Hill, commuting from outside, let's say, Virginia or Maryland, where you might live in some of these remote areas where they don't necessarily have the crews to clean the roads. So I know I was talking to some folks on Capitol Hill that they were working remotely due to the extreme weather. And of course, here in Southern California, it's kind of nice. The low 50s, the high is around 81 degrees here in Los Angeles, so I cannot complain about that. All right, let's start our day with the Bible verse. As we start this morning, we want to begin with God's word. Today's verse comes from Corinthians 16:13, and it reads, be watchful, stand firm in the faith, act like man, be strong. Amen to that. We definitely need strong men and strong women in our society. All right, moving along. President Donald Trump and First Lady Melania Trump walked the red carpet last night ahead of the world premiere of the new documentary Melania. Now, the event took place at the Trump Kennedy Center, marking the film's official debut ahead of its global release. The documentary offers a close look at Melania Trump's life, career, and time as First Lady. Now, Melania Trump, being someone that works in and out of the White House, as I do, it's a very unique situation, an opportunity, rather, I should say, when you have a chance to actually see Melania Trump at the White House. I know she's very active in the kids, making sure kids are protected online. She actually had a legislation about that. We recently did kind of a reboot on the school lunch program. She had a hand on that. So Melania Trump really had made it a mission to fight for kids and fight for young girls, young boys, a lot of adoptions, orphans, situations like that. So she's really an amazing human being. Speaks 5 or 6 languages as well. So I'm barely trying to master one. That would be English. But then again, you can go see this film. I think you just go to the website and search out a theater in your area. Debut last night. And of course, there was a lot of controversy on the Trump addition to the Kennedy Center. And when President Trump, I was there whenever President Trump toured the Kennedy Center last year and made comments that it had, quote, good bones. And as a builder in the construction industry and developer as President Trump is, he can recognize when a facility has good structure. And I know they've made some additions to that to make that facility world class. And you looking at it right there on the screen. I had a couple friends that were at that event. and said that both President Trump and First Lady Melania Trump worked the press line all the way down. That was the first time this individual had seen the two together working the entire press line. So there you go. Congratulations to the First Lady on that. All right. Well, I tell you what, FBI agents on the ground there in Fulton County with search warrants executed. This is something that, after the 2020 election, for someone like myself, I was on the ground there in Pennsylvania. I was on the ground in Wisconsin, Michigan, Arizona, looking at some of the alleged voter discrepancies in elections. So I know that Pennsylvania was technically called before Georgia was. I think it was just days before it was called. They finally, I think a week after the election, officially Georgia. We're going to have an expert come on in the next block and talk about that. But some of the things that we found out, not only in Georgia, but in other states as well. You had, water main breaks in a building that have to evacuate the building. And then we would later find that, hours later, ballots would come in the back door, opened up, scanned through with no authorization, no supervision on those things. And it was interesting because right after, the election, I was called to Pennsylvania. They had an event with Rudy Giuliani, Jenna Ellis, and there's some other attorneys for the president were meeting there, talking about some of the discrepancies, and that was brand new. And then it wasn't until at that time, State Senator Doug Mastriano, who was the only and the first publicly elected official to call an event, call a public Senate hearing. And I know I was one of the first people from a journalist standpoint, to show up and just listen to what was being said. And of course, I was highly criticized for even remotely entertaining the notion that the election was for some reason compromised. And if you look at what we went through at the time, the campaign season, as President Trump was doing rallies outside, many at airport runway venues, outdoor stadiums, things like that, because of COVID restrictions, that prevented him from actually doing indoor rallies because of the large scale of people showing up at these things. In the meantime, on the flip side, you had Joe Biden holding his rallies in oftentimes, middle school gymnasiums, and you had hula hoops. People had to stand 6 feet apart. So it was very different from a visual standpoint of what was happening in that election, so that when we saw the massive crowds that were gathering for these rallies compared to the few people that would show up for Joe Biden's rallies, you could then make the assumption that, wait a minute, so how did he get tens of millions of votes more than President Trump? But we didn't simply see the turnout during the rally season and some of the campaign season. Very valid points. And of course, we will later look at some of the investigations that took place in all of those 5 swing states. We'll have an expert come on in the next block here after the break to talk more about that. All right, coming up, we'll talk more about the FBI agents seized the election records in Fulton County. What exactly are they looking for? Next, as America's Sunrise Early Edition marches on right now. Stick around.
Welcome to Real America's Voice, Real Minute. Your quick look at the powerful stories of faith and freedom, inspiring audiences across the nation. Angel Studios presents.
I'm Bo Davidson with this Real America's Voice, Real Minute. Most people know the biblical story of David, the shepherd boy who fought Goliath and became king. Well, Angel Studios has created a new animated film called David that tells the story of Israel's greatest king.
There's a light I've always followed when I'm looking for the way, when I'm searching for the answer, in the moments I'm afraid. There's a whisper in the wind, and a story in the sky, when I'm looking for a lantern to illuminate the night. If you want the secret of freedom and feeling alive, You gotta follow the light. Follow the light.
For those who love great animated classics like The Lion King and Prince of Egypt, David is an awe-inspiring animated musical that depicts David as a spirited boy who fought lions, giants, and even betrayal, depicting how one boy's faith could lead him to be king of Israel. David will be released in theaters just in time for Christmas on December 19th, but your family can get a head start by watching the prequel to the film, Young David, which is streaming exclusively right now on Angel. It's perfect for the entire family and has memorable music. So once you join the Angel Guild, you can start watching Young David right now and prepare the fam for the David film in theaters in December. And by joining the Guild, you'll guarantee 2 free tickets to see it. And it's a great value. Let's be honest, going to the movies isn't all that cheap. But if you're a member of the Angel Guild, not only do you get those 2 free tickets to David, but you'll now have access to every single film or TV series on Angel at your convenience.
All right, welcome back to American Sunrise Early Edition. I am Brian Glenn. That's a beautiful shot there. Look at that. Beautiful. Don't we have a great country? Isn't it worth fighting for? I think so as well. All right, a government shutdown still hangs in the balance today. It's critical. Trump-backed funding deal is on the table, but the DHS funding, including ICE, remains unresolved. The vote count is uncertain, and the clock is ticking. Now, here's the deal on this. Real quickly, on this, the funding will take place. I think we'll have a shutdown for one day, and I think they have to do kind of a quick amendment, because if anything is changed in that, Congress has to go back and vote on it. They come back on Monday. So you may have a government shutdown for one day, and then Monday they vote on it. It gets clear. But for the funding for the ICE, that is basically kicked 2 weeks in advance. So think of a short-term CR for 2 weeks. They'll take the funding, they'll fund it for 2 weeks, and after 2 weeks, they've got to go back and do it again. So we'll keep an eye on that. So you're going to have a government shutdown for one day, but it won't really affect anybody. They'll vote again on it on Monday. Meanwhile, the Alberta independence movement is gaining steam following coverage earlier this week. Alberta representatives met with officials at the White House meetings focused on the energy security and oil production. Now, talks include trade, infrastructure, and market access. Alberta is Canada's energy epicenter. The separatists say that Ottawa's policies are strangling production. Trump allies have called Alberta a strategic asset. Now, if you take a look at the amount of energy and the amount of resources that are in Alberta, it is the equivalency of Texas as an oil production. It's huge. It's got a bunch of assets. I know that they're certainly wanting to do something. Now, they're not wanting to make it the 51st state. Now, let's not go into that. That's not going to happen. I think it's a bad move if we position it like that. They just want to be separate, which I think they have every right to do so, constitutional-wise, in Canada. All right, now we're going to shift our attention down to Georgia. Joining us now is Dr. Janice Jostin. She is a vice chair of Georgia State Election Board. Janice, I talked to you before we came on. Big news breaking in your state. I'm going to just hand you the floor to the gentlewoman in Georgia to take it over from here. What was your reaction when you heard that Tulsi Gabbard was on the ground in your state?
All right, Brian. Thanks for having me on. Yes, on Wednesday, I was actually on the road traveling back from visiting family in Tennessee and received a phone call that asked, did I know that the FBI teams were at the Fulton County election warehouse on their way to presumably obtain the election documents that we had been fighting to get for over a year, and actually longer than that. But we had gotten to the point where we had subpoenaed the election documents for an investigation that we were trying to complete concerning the 2020 election in Fulton County. And so I immediately went to the Fulton County election warehouse, tried to request entry into the area where the clerk of the court is that holds the election documents. and was turned away along with my fellow board member, Sally Grubbs. So we patiently waited outside as the FBI teams went into the warehouse and began to go through the process of removing the election, the ballots, the supporting documents related to the 2020 election. And later in the early evening, Tulsi Gabbard, is my understanding, Tulsi Gabbard arrived. And she went into the warehouse, did not hold a press conference, but I assume that she spoke with all of her team and the FBI agents, and they loaded 3 trucks of documents and headed off, as I understand, to Virginia to conduct a review and investigation of these election documents.
Now, Janice, for some of our viewers right now, this has been, 5 years since all this happened, essentially. So a lot of people have forgotten. What's the number one issue that they're looking for? And what's the number one takeaway from this that our viewers can say, okay, this is what they're trying to investigate in terms of Georgia? What exactly is that? Is it absentee ballots? Is it unverified signatures? What exactly is it?
It's really, Brian, it's really a culmination of a number of election law violation complaints that were submitted a year. It took at least a year to obtain documents for citizens to review and file a complaint with the state election board that they thought there were inconsistencies and irregularities in the conduct and the count of the election. And one particular complaint stood out was from a Mr. Joe Rossi and Mr. Kevin Moncla, who tediously and methodically went through election documents of vote counts, the recount, the audit, and actually had their data and findings confirmed by the governor of Georgia. However, the quest to complete the investigation to confirm whether the allegations were completely correct or incorrect was blocked every step of the way by Fulton County. And as we continued to try to investigate the findings, we were met with legal obstructions and refusal to provide documents. And to this date, the state election board has not received a single document that was requested of Fulton County.
Yeah. Well, Dr. Johnson, certainly this story is developing in Georgia. We want to have you back on to go a little deeper and also to ask you that question, if the 2026 elections any secure in Georgia. Dr. Johnson, thank you for coming on the show today. We appreciate it.
All right. Thank you.
All right. Before we go to break, a quick word from one of our sponsors, Artillery Tea Company. That is the veteran-owned patriotic tea delivering premium whole leaf tea in a biodegradable sachets that brew twice as strong. Now, Patriots, if you love great tea on your terms, check out our Patriots Brew Club for our automatic shipments to control. You can cancel, you can swap anytime, flavors, swap them out as well. No commitments. You'll also get free shipping on every order. It's tiered discounts up to 20% and free milestone rewards along the way. Brew strong, stay patriotic. Head to artillerytco.com. Right now, click Join the Patriots Brew Club to get started. More on America's Sunrise coming up from Los Angeles after the break.
Welcome to Real America's Voice, Real Minute. Your quick look at the powerful stories of faith and freedom, inspiring audiences across the nation. Angel Studios presents.
I'm Bo Davidson with this Real America's Voice, Real Minute. Most people know the biblical story of David, the shepherd boy who fought Goliath and became king. Well, Angel Studios has created a new animated film called David that tells the story of Israel's greatest king.
There's a always followed when I'm looking for the way, when I'm searching for the answer. In the moments I'm afraid, there's a whisper in the wind and a story in the sky. When I'm looking for a lantern to illuminate the night. If you want the secret of freedom and feeling alive, you gotta follow the light. Follow the light.
For those who love great animated classics like The Lion King and Prince of Egypt, David is an awe-inspiring animated musical that depicts David as a spirited boy who fought lions, giants, and even betrayal, depicting how one boy's faith could lead him to be king of Israel. David will be released in theaters just in time for Christmas on December 19th, but your family can get a head start by watching the prequel to the film, Young David, which is streaming exclusively right now on Angel. It's perfect for the entire family and has memorable music. So once you join the Angel Guild, you can start watching Young David right now and prepare the fam for the David film in theaters in December. And by joining the Guild, you'll guarantee 2 free tickets to see it. And it's a great value. Let's be honest, going to the movies isn't all that cheap. But if you're a member of the Angel Guild, not only do you get those 2 free tickets to David, but you'll now have access to every single film or TV series on Angel at your convenience.
All right, welcome back, American Sunrise Early Edition. I am Brian Glenn. That is a live look right now of the Washington Monument going down to the mall. Now, if you recall, I did Snow Angels in front of the West Wing. I might be the first person to actually ever do that at the White House, and I'm proud of it, actually. All right, we're only a few weeks into winter and already brutal cold, huge snowstorms, and of course, power outages as well. Now think about this, if the power goes out at your house and it's really cold, if you have a plan to keep yourself safe and your family warm, this is the real problem. Winter power outages can even be life-threatening, like what we saw in Texas just a few years ago. Now, that's why so many Americans right now are getting a Vesta, an off-grid heater from My Patriot Supply. It's a space heater that doesn't use electricity or propane. It actually runs on something called canned heat. It's an indoor safe fuel, and a Vesta stashed in your closet. You know you can keep warm no matter what. It even doubles as a stove to cook your food. The best part is right now you can get a Vesta and a bunch more preparedness gear as free gifts when you order the Winter Survivor Kit from My Patriot Supply. Just go to mypatriotsupply.com/RAV to see everything that's included. This offer won't last long, so go to mypatriotsupply.com/RAV today. Once again, the website, it's early, I'll say it one more time, mypatriotsupply.com/RAV. All right. Moving on. One of the greatest coaches in NFL history, Bill Belichick, 8 Super Bowl championships, a dynasty in New England with Tom Brady. There's no doubt about that. And now left out of the Hall of Fame, and the controversy on this is just beginning. The question this morning is, how did that happen? I have no idea, but joining us now is someone who faced Belichick's Patriots, former Jacksonville Jaguar tight end, George Reister. George, welcome to the show. Now, we don't normally do a lot of sports on this show, but when this story broke yesterday and the outrage online, I thought, wait a minute. This is grabbing some headlines. What was your take when you heard that announcement that he had been left out on the first ballot?
I thought it was par for the course. When there have been people in NFL history that people have not liked, or that they had an axe to grind, or they didn't like something that they did, they haven't gotten in on the first ballot of the Hall of Fame. Bill Belichick will eventually get in. Terrell Owens, one of the 5 greatest wide receivers of all time, did not get in on the first ballot. And there is clear that Bill Belichick is not very much liked in the NFL in a lot of circles, and people had axe to grind. And this is why he's at North Carolina and not coaching in the NFL, where he actually wants to be right now. So that was my initial takeaway from it. And I think a lot of it had to do with the Spygate scandal and the things that went on at Gillette Stadium, where when you would play up there mysteriously, The people's headsets would go out. They wouldn't work right. The field would be unfrozen or frozen, depending on which side when you went out in the playoffs. So a lot of people feel like that there were some nefarious things going on. That's why he took the biggest fine in NFL history. So, yeah, he will get in, but it's like cry me a river when there have been scandals surrounding him and the Patriots.
Now, can you remember other previous years when someone high profile didn't get in on that first ballot? Is this the first time that we really, scratched our heads? Or can you name of any other examples that might have got you thinking, why didn't they get in on the first ballot?
Okay, let's look at a guy like Barry Bonds in baseball, right?
Okay.
He's arguably, according to players, the greatest baseball player to ever tie up shoes. And he's been left out of the Hall of Fame because they wanted to call him a cheater. But the reality is if you go back and look at MLB rules, he never, even if he did things that people accused him of, he never violated an MLB rule. And if you don't violate the actual rules, how can you leave a man out of the Hall of Fame? Yet it's because he was not well liked by the writers. If he had, been a little more friendly with them, he would be in. And this has happened multiple times in multiple sports. But when it comes to the Pro Football Hall of Fame, Bill Belichick will get in. But the other thing that people haven't paid attention to, yes, they're looking at the over 300 total wins, which is the second most all time behind Don Shula. You're looking at the 31 playoff wins. Let's dig a little bit deeper down into this, okay? He only has a 44% winning percentage without Tom Brady. Do you remember the people you say, well, is it Brady or is it Belichick? Well, Tom Brady left and went down to Tampa and found a way to win a Super Bowl. And Bill Belichick couldn't build a roster after that and couldn't get anything going before Brady or after Brady. And when you look at coaches, you have to look at their legacies, okay? And yes, he won all those games, and yes, those things matter. You got 6 Super Bowls as a head coach, 2 as an assistant coach. Those are the things that are going to carry the most weight. But his coaching tree, he has not put out one single solitary top-tier coach. When Sean McVay has, Kyle Shanahan has, Bill Walsh, Bill Parcells, Gary Kubiak, so many other great coaches, and even the young ones have a coaching tree. And he has not had one single solitary coach go out and be a high-level coach. The only exception is potentially Bill O'Brien, because he had a little bit of a run in the Houston Texans. But if you're not elevating the game outside of yourself,
good point.
That's something of note as well.
Good point. We've got about a minute left. Who you like this coming up? The Seahawks, Patriots, who you got?
Oh, I got the Seahawks. I think that this is their year. They're a team of destiny. This is a great comeback story for Sam Darnold, who is absolutely a good, a player that people wanted to throw away. And this is like America. It is when people want to throw you away sometimes and you don't accept it, there's a second act for you. And this was a great opportunity for him. And I think that he is a team of destiny.
George, it's interesting how you talked about Belichick treating the press. The press now has their chance to, I guess, have their say-so in Belichick. It's nice to know that that doesn't just exist in politics. It actually exists in sports as well. George, thanks so much for joining us. We'll have you back on, and anything comes up sports-related and politics, we'd love to have you weigh in. I appreciate it. Have a great weekend.
Yep. And I wanted to say before we go, I wanted to give you some credit. I found a tape that you had. It was about college football, where you pointed out that college football coaches that they'll lose 2 games and everybody wants them fired. But we got politicians out here who are in line for 30 years, not doing the good work for the people that voted them in, and they need to get up out of here too.
That's a great take. I love that. That's a great take. You did your digging on that. We could talk more about that. I love that. A coach loses 2 games, they run him out of town, but a guy can stay in office for 40 years and not do anything. and they keep voting them back. That's good stuff.
Amen.
Good stuff. Good stuff, George. Thank you so much.
All right. Thanks.
Thank you. All right, coming up next, ICE is not backing down. More arrests targeting violent, illegal criminals there in Minnesota. All this and much more ahead on this early edition of American Sunrise.
At Real America's Voice, we know that you want to be a part of something bigger. That's why we've teamed up with AMAC, the Association of Mature American Citizens, to build a real community of folks who care about faith and our country's future.
There is no force on earth that can stop us from saving our country.
Want to be a part of this movement? It's easy. Just scan the QR code on your screen right now. That's right. Grab your phone and scan the QR code to join the AMAC and Real America's Voice family today. By scanning the QR code, you'll unlock exclusive content, connect with like-minded Americans, and be first in line for events that celebrate our shared values. So don't wait. Scan the QR code. Join us today and become part of a community that stands for faith, family, and freedom.
Real rights, they come from God.
With AMAC and Real America's Voice. Go ahead, scan the QR code now.
Hey folks, it's your friend John Rich. I co-founded Old Glory Bank because we heard too many stories about people getting canceled by their bank because they didn't agree with their politics. The government wanted to know where you shopped. If you bought a Bible or you shopped at a sporting goods store, you're probably on a list. We created Old Glory Bank because America needed a bank that would protect their privacy and security. Exercising your constitutional rights is not a criminal activity, and neither is loving your country. At Old Glory Bank, we stand with you.
I'm a J6er. I spent 1,143 days in prison.
About a year in prison.
We were prosecuted, persecuted.
J6ers have been treated like terrorists.
And we need your help.
Stand in the Gap was founded to stand in the gap for J6ers working to rebuild their lives after being incarcerated.
For just $10 or more, you can help these patriots get back on their feet again. Every dollar you give is being matched up to $50,000. Go now to j6support.com and donate. Welcome to American Sunrise Early Edition. The show where faith, freedom, and the values that built this nation take center stage.
Hi, welcome back again. American Sunrise Early Edition. I am Brian Glenn. We got so much going on in the news. Let's head over to our Denver newsroom for the latest headlines. T. Bates. Happy Friday, T. Bates. I know you got a lot on your plate, so I'll toss it over to you. How you doing?
All right, Brian, good morning. I do have a lot on my plate. I'd rather you just take it so I can eat. But instead, we will talk about some of the big headlines of the day. So look, Brian, a lot is being made, obviously, of DHS funding and ICE funding. That's part of what's leading to the possibility of a shutdown, even though we're hearing a deal has been worked out. But one of the things I can tell you is that DHS is continuing to make arrests of the worst out there. Violent, criminal, illegal aliens are being locked up. We're talking people like sexual predators, pedophiles. In fact, Attorney General Pam Bondi was on the ground in Minneapolis on Thursday announcing 16 arrests there. The charges also include assaulting, resisting, or impeding federal agents, which of course has been a major issue there in Minneapolis. Brian, Pam Bondi's message to everyone is nothing will stop the DOJ from enforcing the law. And while I think we all love that message, it's also good to see a crackdown in that all of the infighting in Washington isn't affecting the job that the Department of Justice, DHS, is doing to try to make these arrests and to try to bring peace to the city of Minneapolis.
Yeah, it seems like every week that goes by, Pam Bondi has something else added to her desk. We had a live shot at the actual desk of Pam Bondi, Terrance. I'm not sure there'd be space for another piece of paper or a file to sit on there. She's busy. She's, on the ground there, making sure that justice is upheld and that people are prosecuted for violating the law. That's a good thing.
And Brian, one of the things that I see in all of this, and I'd love to get your perception, these arrests really kind of double down and emphasize the work that's happening on the ground from ICE agents, from Border Patrol agents, because they're saying, look, we're going after the worst of the worst. Now, if you're not the worst of the worst, but you happen to be fraternizing with the worst of the worst, well, you're getting deported as well. But showing that the arrests are coming, it really kind of emphasizes the work that's happening on the ground, and that, in fact, these agents aren't just willy-nilly going after people. They're going after the worst of the worst.
Correct.
And if other people get caught up in the dragnet, well, so be it.
Yeah, and we've talked about this. It's all about the messaging here. They're going after pedophiles, sex offenders, criminals, murderers. That's who they're going after. They're not going after if you've broken no laws and you're a productive person in our society. They're not coming to get you. And these people that are protesting in the street, and the Alex Brody video, that second video that came out of him confrontation with the ICE agent kicking the taillight out. If you're not that guy, then you have nothing to worry about. If you don't act like that, you have nothing to worry about.
Absolutely. You know what? I wasn't going to go here, Brian, but since you brought up that video, let's talk about that a little bit. So we clearly saw the guy. We clearly saw Alex Brody literally running up to an ICE vehicle that appears to be pulling off and kicking it, literally physically kicking the car. I think anybody, any reasonable person, if you were to do that, not even to an ICE agent, just to your neighbor's driving off, you run up, you kick the back of his car and kick out the light. FAFO. Like, at the point, even as a neighbor, as a civilian, I'm getting out and I'm putting a Handley blessing on you.
Let me tell you something. Think about how brazen you have to be to get in a standoff like that, and then spit in the vehicle, and then chase the vehicle and kick it. So all of a sudden now you have no fear. It's almost like he was wanting them to do something. And now obviously the tragic shooting of him 11 days later it's tragic. No one wants to see it happen. Agreed. But my God, if you're a nurse and you feel like this is good judgment, I don't think you probably were that good of a nurse if you think that attacking someone like that is a good thing. I heard somebody debate me. I was reading someone debating me online saying, well, how do you know it was an ICE vehicle? It could have been another vehicle. It doesn't matter who owned the vehicle. You don't go up to a vehicle and kick the taillight out. I don't care who it is.
Right. That's really my point. Like, I don't care who it is. It could be your neighbor. Like, if you start kicking a vehicle, there are going to be consequences and repercussions. But we'll just leave that conversation there, because we could spend 15 more minutes on that. I want to move on, Brian, to a transgender Antifa extremist who is now charged with attempted murder. And this murder comes after a warning by Representative Nancy Mace went unheeded. The suspect, probably best known by his alias, which is Rim Heathen. Now, most of you who know me know that typically when there's a suspect, I try not to use the name just because I don't want to give that person any more notoriety. But in this case, the alias, I think, is of substance. Representative Mace actually saying that she warned authorities about this guy months ago. Back in May of 2025, graphic posts were shown of a gun pointed at Mace's face, and her office flagged that post as a clear death threat. Prosecutors declined to file charges, though. Then months after that, the suspect was charged with attempted murder. He's accused in a December shooting in Portland, Oregon. The victim was left hospitalized with serious injuries. And Mace, of course, as you can imagine, says that all of this was preventable if they had just heeded her warnings. Unfortunately, those warnings went ignored. And now the consequence is that somebody was seriously injured. Unfortunate situation, Brian.
It is, and unfortunately, I know too well about threats against people in public office, threats against myself. I'm glad that the authorities acted on this. And this is what I wish our FBI and our DOJ would spend more time finding these lunatics, and I'm going to the disgruntled white males, and that's who they are. If you want to sit there and really profile who these individuals are, they're gamers. They're into a lot of things that are not normal, and they're not shy to talk about it. So they'll talk about online or post that silly picture or send it to somebody. So they're open about what they want to do. And I'm glad this gentleman, or I call him gentleman loosely, I probably should apologize to all the gentlemen out there. This monster is behind bars. Because and I'm thankful that Nancy Mace obviously is okay as well. So I don't tolerate any of this. I don't care what political aisle it is. You cannot threaten people, anybody.
Brian, are we in an environment where it's easier, or people feel like it's appropriate to threaten people because they don't think that there are going to be consequences? And I asked that question in light of this Nancy Mace situation in which she warned people, and they said, "Oh, it's okay. We're not going to." If more of these people who threaten lawmakers or anyone get charges slapped on them, do you think that we'll see some of these sorts of situations subside?
I do. I know 3 people that are sitting in jail that have made threats towards members of Congress, and they are sitting in jail. And when they get out, I hope that they don't feel the need to do that again. I think there needs to be examples. And I like the fact that we're talking about it. Now, granted, I agree with you. I don't like to give anybody any kind of notoriety for doing something. But people need to know that if you make death threats towards anyone, and I don't care if it's loosely said on a post online or if it's personally said, if it's said in person in front of that individual, it cannot be tolerated. And I'm glad that our justice system is looking into this, because do you remember the 87 the shells that were arranged on the beach?
Yes, 387.
Remember all of that narrative?
Yeah.
Yeah, that we all kind of laughed it off, and he even laughed it off. Was it James Comey? Was it James Comey? I believe. Yeah, Comey. I saw that and said, "Oh, he saw it randomly on the beach." And then all of a sudden, everyone started putting up 87 in their social media post. We know what it alludes to. I'm not saying you go after every person that put an 87 up there, but it does show that people are willing to proactively promote stuff like this.
Yeah. Something's got to be done. Messages need to be sent. Even if they might appear.
Yeah, there's the images. There's the shells right there on our screen. There you go.
Exactly.
I mean, how could he say he randomly walked upon that? And then why did you feel the need to put that on social media? Think about that for a second. I mean, you and I, throughout our day, we see, just walking around our cities and our neighborhood, we see stuff that is Instagram worthy, that's social media worthy. You tell me he walked up to 8647 and thought that was something that he should post up online? Like he thought that was appropriate?
Right.
Unacceptable.
And he just randomly walked up on it.
Yep.
Bruh, please. I'm sorry to lose my journalistic integrity, but you get a bruh, please. Come on, man. Come on, man. Since you were just talking football, come on, man.
Yeah. By the way, what do you think about that? What do you think about Belichick not getting in on the first ballot? I mean, because it's interesting what George brought up. This thing where Belichick wasn't always friendly with the press. Okay, he wasn't always friendly with them. So when they had a chance to weigh in on his Hall of Fame, they chose to pass him. I mean, it's like they said, "Hey, you're going to treat us like this? We'll treat you like this."
That's a travesty, Brian. I mean, he is Bill Belichick. The amount of Super Bowls he won, what he did coaching, that's something that you just can't overlook. Now, I'm not a Belichick fan. I thought just his interaction with the media and the way he treated people just publicly, I didn't like it all. But you can't deny his success as a coach and what he's meant to NFL coaching. He's definitely a first ballot Hall of Famer in my book, whether I like him or not. His accomplishments speak for themselves.
Yeah, I agree. And that's the great thing about sports. You may not agree with the person. Like I couldn't stand Ray Lewis because I was a Houston Texans fan. I was a Tennessee Titans fan. And Ray Lewis just ruined their playoff chances every year. So I couldn't stand Ray Lewis, but I loved him. I would want him on my team, though. That's the thing.
Absolutely.
I would want Ray Lewis on my team, but I didn't want my team playing against him. That's the beautiful thing about sports. You can disagree with somebody, but you got to look at the record, and the record speaks for itself. And the guy was a winner. And you know who else is a winner? Terrance, you are a winner, my friend, because today's Friday.
Well, yes, exactly. My prize is at 12 o'clock. I get to walk out the door and not think about this place until Monday. You're right. That is my prize.
There you go.
Brian,
unless something
good to see you,
happens
brother.
over the weekend, we talked about Iran. You watch Iran.
Okay, see, now you jinxed it, Brian. That means that I'll be here Saturday or Sunday. You just ruined the weekend.
That means
you
I
jinxed
will too.
it for me.
Yeah, that means I'll be in the seat too. All right, Terrance, thanks so much. I appreciate it. Thank you.
I appreciate you, Brian.
All right, as we go to break, Real America's Music has partnered with Natasha Owens on the Somali Waltz. Now, this is a satirical take on the Somali fraud story. We need your help to keep it climbing. Let's make it number one. Download it right now on iTunes. Take a listen.
Minnesota's headlines are getting wild. Tim Walz and Ilhan Omar are being accused of massive fraud, and it's so bad, all you can do is laugh at this point. So from Real America's Music, the label that brought you the #1 hit, Anthem of the Free, comes a brand new song from singer-songwriter Natasha Owens, the Somali Waltz. Let's make the music industry mad and run this to #1. Scan the QR code or search the Somali Waltz on iTunes and buy it right now. The Somali Waltz, available everywhere. At Real America's Voice, we know that you want to be a part of something bigger. That's why we've teamed up with AMAC, the Association of Mature American Citizens, to build a real community of folks who care about faith and our country's future.
There is no force on earth that can stop us from saving our country.
Want to be a part of this movement? It's easy. Just scan the QR code on your screen right now. That's right. Grab your phone and scan the QR code to join the AMAC and Real America's Voice family today. By scanning the QR code, you'll unlock exclusive content, connect with like-minded Americans, and be first in line for events that celebrate our shared values. So don't wait. Scan the QR code. Join us today and become part of a community that stands for faith, family, and freedom.
Real rights, they come from God.
With AMAC and Real America's Voice. Go ahead. Scan the QR code now.
Hey folks, it's your friend John Rich. I co-founded Old Glory Bank because we heard too many stories about people getting canceled by their bank because they didn't agree with their politics. The government wanted to know where you shopped. If you bought a Bible or you shopped at a sporting goods store, you're probably on a list. We created Old Glory Bank because America needed a bank that would protect their privacy and security. Exercising your constitutional rights is not a criminal activity, and neither is loving your country. At Old Glory Bank, we stand with you.
I'm a J6er. I spent 1,143 days in prison.
About a year in prison.
We were prosecuted, persecuted.
J6ers have been treated like terrorists.
And we need your help.
Stand in the Gap was founded to stand in the gap for J6ers working to rebuild their lives after being incarcerated.
For just $10 or more, you can help these patriots get back on their feet again. Every dollar you give is being matched up to $50,000. Go now to j6support.com and donate.
All right, welcome back, American Sunrise Early Edition. I am Brian Glenn. That is a live look at this famous Santa Monica Pier. I'm not a big fan of roller coasters, but if you want to get on a Ferris wheel, that is the perfect place to do that. I am just east of there by about 10 minutes right now, or maybe an hour and a half during rush hour. Oh, the traffic here in Los Angeles is going to heat up here in about 30 minutes. All right, I'm Brian Glenn. Welcome back to American Sunrise. I want to bring in, my co-host on the other side of this country, this great country, David Brody, who's coming from us from D.C. So we were talking in the break about having to wake up early. Yeah, I had to wake up around 3 o'clock in the morning local time to do this. So I'm going to be a little bit sleepy today.
Yeah, and Brian, I'm just glad you're 10 minutes east of the Santa Monica Pier, not 10 minutes west, because that is going to put you in some serious water at that point.
Yeah, and what's interesting is, talking about water, we were earlier in the show, talking about the Pacific Palisades fire. I mean, this area has gone through so much tragedy. About a year ago was when all of this kind of happened and unfolded. And of course, it has launched a new kind of a mayoral race here in Los Angeles. Karen Bass was the sitting mayor. So a lot of conversation on how to make this city great. And you've got the Olympics coming here. You've got some World Cup matches, I believe, coming here as well. So a lot going on here in Southern California and the state of California in general.
Yeah, and you notice how mayhem, well, you mentioned the governor's race for sure, and I'm thinking about the mayoral race, or at least the mayor there in Los Angeles, Karen Bass, and how mayhem just followed her, right, from Congress right over to the West Coast. I mean, it just seems like with Democrat, look at Tim Walz in Minnesota. I mean, you just go down the list. They're everywhere. Jacob Fry.
That's a good idea.
We literally could go from every Democrat state and just look how mayhem and problems are in each one of those cities, which is kind of interesting because the mayhem is there, and yet part of the rules for radicals, right, the liberal playbook, is that you want to cause chaos because then you can control the people through it. So, you know, a lot of this is clearly orchestrated for a larger goal, but that gets us into some theoretical stuff, and I'll be honest with you, at that point, it's above my pay grade. I just like to, I like to do with two syllable words is my kind of cup of tea, if you will, right?
I hear that's an excellent point. I've got about a minute left. Are we going to hear a new Fed chair being announced today, David?
Yeah, Kevin Warsh is going to be the guy, it looks like. I say it looks like. I mean, Trump went up on Truth Social and said it. So now we wait to see. You know, he's married. We'll talk about it in the 8 o'clock hour. But he's married to the billionaire heiress, Jane Lauder, who is, of course, the granddaughter of Estee Lauder. Yeah,
Estee
I mean,
Lauder.
this is
wow.
Yeah, so there you go. There's some news you can use. That's a cocktail party stuff right there, Brian.
Yeah, well, I need some Estee Lauder too, so I'll go grab that too. David Brody, too. It's always a pleasure. Have a
by
good
the way,
weekend.
do the Somali waltz.
Yes, sir.
If you don't have it, if you get a second, do the Somali waltz. Yeah. Okay,
Yeah.
all right.
There we go. All right. As we say goodbye, God bless. Have a fantastic weekend. We'll see you back here on Monday. We'll see you.
American Sunrise is a great way to start your morning. Join us Monday through Friday from 8 to 10 a.m. Eastern Time. We've got the news of the day and some compelling interviews that you don't want to miss. Here's what you missed from yesterday. We begin this Thursday morning with breaking news as we are awaiting Tom Homan, the border czar, who will be taking this podium in short order to offer remarks on the Minnesota operations. This will be his first presser since taking over those operations earlier this week, so we're all looking forward to what he has to say.
It seems to me what we're going to hear from Tom Homan today is that the high priority illegal criminal aliens that are in this country will be deported first. In other words, back to basics, the worst of the worst. I understand there's a lot in MAGA that say deport them all, deport them all. I got it. I got that. But I don't think that's where this administration is right now. It's bad look. It's a bad PR look. And you might say they're caving, but the truth of the matter is that Tom Homan's going to say, look, this is what we've always said from the very beginning.
This may be where America First and MAGA are sort of parting. And that is, I don't think that going for the worst of the worst, they're all criminals. They all need to be deported. I want them to stay strong on this and not back down. Congressman, what is your say? What are you hearing?
Well, obviously, you're right. The people who are in the country illegally are in the country illegally. Now, we should prioritize. We should go after the criminals first. But again, if you're going after a criminal and there are 7 or 8 other people there who have entered the country illegally, yes, you bring them all in. You don't forget about the other 7 to 8.
Dr. Carson, always great to see you. David Brody here. What do you think in terms of what Tom Homan's going to say today? What does he need to say today? Good morning to you, sir.
I hope he can do some things that will turn the temperature down a little bit. I think it should be pointed out vigorously that this is only going on in Minnesota. I think they had expected it to be a George Floyd type thing and to spread all over the country, but it's not doing that. And why is it only in Minnesota? Because there you have a governor and a mayor who don't want to cooperate. If they were truly interested in getting the dangerous criminals out, they would be cooperating.
The liberals are going to go apoplectic when they heard him Mayhem announced that Ellison, the Attorney General, is going to allow ICE to go basically into local jails. They'll at least be able to be notified of when these illegal aliens are going to be released. That's a huge victory right there, Ben.
Yeah, the question on that end is, are they going to just be notified they're being released and they're going to release them out? Because other jails, like I was in Southern California last week riding with ICE, and there are jails down there that call ICE and say, hey, we're releasing this guy, but we can't hand them over to you. So what it ends up is a street chase where they let them out the front doors, and then ICE is chasing these guys down the street. I've been involved in multiple of those. Or is it going to be a coordinated, secure handoff?
At Real America's Voice, we know that you want to be a part of something bigger. That's why we've teamed up with AMAC, the Association of Mature American Citizens, to build a real community of folks who care about faith and our country's future.
There is no force on earth that can stop us from saving our country.
Want to be a part of this movement? It's easy. Just scan the QR code on your screen right now. That's right. Grab your phone and scan the QR code to join the AMAC and Real America's Voice family today. By scanning the QR code, you'll unlock exclusive content, connect with like-minded Americans, and be first in line for events that celebrate our shared values. So don't wait. Scan the QR code. Join us today and become part of a community that stands for faith, family, and freedom.
Real rights, they come from God.
With AMAC and Real America's Voice. Go ahead. Scan the QR code now.
Hey folks, it's your friend John Rich. I co-founded Old Glory Bank because we heard too many stories about people getting canceled by their bank because they didn't agree with their politics. The government wanted to know where you shopped. If you bought a Bible or you shopped at a sporting goods store, you're probably on a list. We created Old Glory Bank because America needed a bank that would protect their privacy and security. Exercising your constitutional rights is not a criminal activity, and neither is loving your country. At Old Glory Bank, we stand with you.
I'm a J6er. I spent 1,143 days in prison.
About a year in prison.
We were prosecuted, persecuted.
J6ers have been treated like terrorists.
And we need your help.
Stand in the Gap was founded to stand in the gap for J6ers working to rebuild their lives after being incarcerated.
For just $10 or more, you can help these patriots get back on their feet again. Every dollar you give is being matched up to $50,000. Go now to j6support.com and donate.
Ahead on American Sunrise, President Trump and Senate Democrats come to an agreement that could avoid a government shutdown. It could/should, but we shall see. However, funding for the Department of Homeland Security and ICE is still in limbo, at least for the next 2 weeks. We'll have coverage for you throughout the show. House Republicans are pushing a new election reform package with proposals on voter ID, citizenship checks, paper ballots, and limits on mail-in voting. Texas Congressman Pete Sessions will be here to weigh in. In fact, I was just talking to him moments ago. And later, a raid at Georgia's Fulton County Election Center. So what did the FBI find, and why was DNI Tulsi Gabbard there? We'll have those stories and so much more right now on American Sunrise.
Good morning, America.
Welcome to American Sunrise.
Whether it's culture,
we have breaking news to share with you.
Politics.
President Trump is joining us live now from Florida.
We've got you covered.
This is what it looks like to be a patriot.
We have to protect the American family.
The American dream is still alive.
I'm David Brody.
I'm Terrance.
And I'm Dr. Gina. Ye of little faith, our producers in the control room there. They're like, I'm finishing my makeup. They're like, quick, quick, quick. I'm like, no. 5 seconds is an eternity in TV. Good morning, everybody. I'm Dr. Gina. We are live with you from the Palm Beaches. Let's bring in David Brody. He's in Washington, D.C. T. Bates in our Denver newsroom. Good morning, gentlemen.
Good morning,
Hey,
Gina.
Dr.
How
Gina.
are you?
Sorry.
Great to see you.
How are you? I'm
finishing, putting some finishing touches.
I don't have full screen, so I can't see you guys. I'm like, why do they sound so weird? I can't see you.
Just putting on our finishing makeup touches.
Yeah, I'm blotting some of the shiny spots here.
You guys definitely spend more time on your makeup than I do. I'm pretty quick about it, but that's why I'm like, you guys don't worry, we're good.
Correct.
That is hilarious. So look, guys, let's start the day off talking about President Trump just announcing his Fed pick. It's former Fed Governor Kevin Warsh. President Trump made the announcement on Truth Social earlier this morning. He met with Warsh yesterday at the White House. All of this, of course, comes as current Fed Chair Jerome Powell's term expires in May. Plus, President Trump and Jerome Powell, I think it's safe to say they haven't been on the best of terms. So Jerome Powell is on his way out, and it looks like Kevin Warsh will be on his way in to replace him. Dr. Gina and David, is this really a good deal? More importantly, is this an opportunity for President Trump to have more influence on what happens at these Fed meetings and on the Fed Board of Governors, Dr. Gina?
Well, I was thinking about that. I thought, my guess is this will go down in a partisan form, just like most things, because there's such a great divide, because the Democrats can never admit anything that's good or against their narrative, right? And so it doesn't really matter what actually happens, because both sides will have the narrative you can already predict, in my opinion anyway, David Brody.
Absolutely. Speaking of the narrative, the liberals already this morning are not happy with the pick. So if the liberals aren't happy, that probably means it's a good pick. I have no idea. I mean, let's be honest. We have no clue how this is going to work out. We're going to watch the stock market, which, of course, will have the opening bell later in the second hour to see how this kind of goes down. So I don't know. He's big on Bitcoin. That's not a shock, considering so is President Trump. I don't know about interest rates. We have no idea. I will say this. To me, the fun cocktail party fact is that he's married to the billionaire heiress, Jane Lauder, who is, of course, the granddaughter of Estee Lauder. And so there you go. There's your fun fact for this morning. That's all I've got, and I'm out of material. No, I've got more, but we'll have to wait for later.
All right, well, let's check out today's Bible verse. It is from Psalm 112, verse 7. He will not be afraid of evil tidings. His heart is steadfast, trusting in the Lord. President Trump and Senate Democrats say they've struck a deal to keep most of the federal government funded and avoid a partial shutdown. It would be this weekend. The agreement funds the majority of federal agencies through September, but splits off funding for the Department of Homeland Security, extending current DHS funding for about 2 weeks while lawmakers continue negotiations. The House would still need to pass the measure. Let's now bring in Texas Congressman Pete Sessions to talk about this. Congressman, how do you see this shaping up? I mean, a lot of controversy over what is basically an extension, as far as I'm understanding it.
Right.
Well, as you know, the House passed and sent to the Senate 6 packages, what was now a full week ago. And those 6 packages are tied together. So as a result of the things in Minnesota, it required a lot of parliamentary maneuvering, also discussions with the president. So 5 of those 6 are evidently, by agreement, as I understand it, going to be signed into law. It included DOD. It included Health and Human Services. So it was not inconsequential. It was a big load. So now we're dealing with Homeland Security. Homeland Security, as you do know, has agents and offices all around the world there to look forward and project and protect the United States of America. They do have money. They have money to fund for a while, but it's going to come down to a discussion that happens once again back with the House of Representatives at the Rules Committee to put together the rule to pass this as a standalone bill. Are we up to it? Yes, I think we are. Am I delighted that the president's personally engaged? Yes. But our friends are going to have to understand this is not a time to have Homeland Security without its full operations.
Well, Congressman, the devil's in the details. So what does that mean? If this is going to be a 2-week extension, if you will, for DHS in terms of figuring out what the path is going forward, what is that path going forward? We know what the Democrat demands are, but how much is the White House, how much are congressional Republicans going to go along with whatever those demands are? In other words, what do you see happening in a final DHS bill that MAGA is not going to be happy about? That's really my question.
Well, in fact, I see a lot that I could not be happy with, but we have to remember that this is being negotiated by the president. The question is whether we can get it through the rule on the floor, then we'd have the votes. But it is no longer a bipartisan issue as it was when we met 2 weeks ago, when we passed the bill. It is not a bipartisan issue, and it means that there are going to have to be some struggles. Would that mean that perhaps I would give in, or other conservatives? I don't think so. I think that we believe that when we saw the 13 million people coming here across the border, we knew we were in trouble. When we knew the kind of people who were here, and the carnage that it would cause in the United States, the drug cartels, the
Right.
need for us to understand how we would vet and then remove those people. That problem still exists. I will be there, as other conservatives, to make sure that we have to stick to our guns. But you and I also understand that the operations that were in Minnesota needed to be looked at, and we had to step back. So it's now being done.
Just a quick follow-up, but what are the things that you are not palatable to you and many other Republicans in a potential new DHS funding bill? Like, what are some of the hiccups? What do we need to look forward to or not look forward to in the next week or two to understand what's in there? What are some poison pills, is my question.
Well, those poison pills are, I think, directly related to sanctuary cities, the ability that we have to do business with these sanctuary cities, to share information. And this is where I think the White House has a golden opportunity to come and be a little bit clearer about their operations, about the needs to make sure that they can operate, but do it with the jointly working with state and local authorities who will provide this, not cover, but an understanding about what they're going after. I think in some way, if you listen to Minnesota, they intentionally did not want to help participate. But even here in Texas, my home state, we need to make sure that there's a clear understanding about criminals, that there's their main target now, and any getting away from removing criminals and people who are a danger to American citizens, our children and our wives and senior citizens, is unacceptable to me.
Congressman, Dr. Gina is our resident therapist. I did stay at a Holiday Inn last night, so I'm going to play therapist here for a minute. Sometimes voicing one's frustration is therapeutic. I have to admit, personally, I'm sick and tired of the back and forth wrangling over the budget. I just like it to get passed already so we can move on. So I'm going to give you an opportunity for a little bit of therapeutic release here. Speak directly to your colleagues in the Senate, specifically the Democrats. This is your opportunity to voice your frustration.
Well, the frustration that Republicans have is to make sure that we avoid the chaos of shutting and moving things instead of the operation of the federal government. You and I both know that there's still up to 30% of federal employees who chose to stay on that are not communicating with the organization, that have decided they're going to stay home. And it means it's tens of thousands of federal employees still not going to work. They're getting paid, they're getting a paycheck. This government, in order to work properly, needs to have the Democratic leaders state to people it is time to go back to work, and to work together with not just the administration, but the American people. That's my biggest frustration.
House Republicans are pushing a new election reform package ahead of the midterm elections. The plan includes voter ID requirements, proof of citizenship, and limits on mail-in voting and ballot harvesting. Supporters say the measure would increase confidence in elections, while opponents argue they could restrict voting access. So what do you think is going to happen here?
Well, I talked to Brian Steele, who is the chairman of House Administration, and he has taken a combination of these bills, including some that I have put my name on, and put them into what might be called one big, beautiful package. And it really is about the integrity of our system. And state after state after state are coming through, and when challenged by this federal government to produce voters and voter logs that equal the current law, they have denied us this. And so there are outside organizations that are suing the states. And I saw where 2 days ago, Oregon is going to take out a huge number of voters that have been held on their rolls that are there essentially set aside to allow fraud. We need to go to a circumstance, no matter whether you're a blue state or a red state, where you clean up your voter log, and it's got to be done. So I hope this could be seen in a positive way. I know, and you know, that this is the shenanigans that happen, in the devil's in the detail. Who is still on the rolls, even though they would be 100 years old? So we've got to fix this. I told the chairman I would be there to help, and I think most Republicans see the need.
All right, Congressman Pete Sessions, thank you so much for being with us.
Thanks, Congressman.
You bet.
All right, coming up, we're going to check out the hottest headlines from the RAV. Not any of those cold headlines for you today on this Freedom Friday. These are the hottest ones from the RAV newsroom with T-Base. Also later, a short-term pause. President Trump says Russian leader Vladimir Putin has agreed to stop strikes on Ukraine for a week. Will this hold? We have expert analysis just ahead on American Sunrise.
At Real America's Voice, we know that you want to be a part of something bigger. That's why we've teamed up with AMAC, the Association of Mature American Citizens, to build a real community of folks who care about faith and our country's future.
There is no force on earth that can stop us from saving our country.
Want to be a part of this movement? It's easy. Just scan the QR code on your screen right now. That's right. Grab your phone and scan the QR code to join the AMAC and Real America's Voice family today. By scanning the QR code, you'll unlock exclusive content, connect with like-minded Americans, and be first in line for events that celebrate our shared values. So don't wait. Scan the QR code. Join us today and become part of a community that stands for faith, family, and freedom.
Real rights, they come from God.
With AMAC and Real America's Voice. Go ahead. Scan the QR code now.
Hey folks, it's your friend John Rich. I co-founded Old Glory Bank because we heard too many stories about people getting canceled by their bank because they didn't agree with their politics. The government wanted to know where you shopped. If you bought a Bible or you shopped at a sporting goods store, you're probably on a list. We created Old Glory Bank because America needed a bank that would protect their privacy and security. Exercising your constitutional rights is not a criminal activity, and neither is loving your country. At Old Glory Bank, we stand with you.
I'm a J6er. I spent 1,143 days in prison.
About a year in prison.
We were prosecuted, persecuted.
J6ers have been treated like terrorists.
And we need your help.
Stand in the Gap was founded to stand in the gap for J6ers working to rebuild their lives after being incarcerated.
For just $10 or more, you can help these patriots get back on their feet again. Every dollar you give is being matched up to $50,000. Go now to j6support.com and donate. Newsbreak is brought to you by AMAC, Association of Mature American Citizens. Breaking news from Real America's Voice.
Hey, folks, we have some breaking news here. Former CNN host Don Lemon has been arrested by federal agents. It was because of that ICE situation at the church in Minneapolis. There it was. He was there to cover it, air quote, cover it. But he was with the protesters when they barged into that church in Minneapolis. Last night, federal agents arrested Don Lemon in Los Angeles. He was covering the Grammys. He's there to cover the Grammys. Anyhow, Lemon's released a statement through his attorney, Abby Lowell, who says it's ridiculous that he's been targeted. Anyhow, he's violated federal law, and I'm looking to see what the charges are. It doesn't quite say right this moment. We'll get more information as we move forward in the next hour. Once again, former CNN host Don Lemon arrested because of his antics in Minneapolis with going into church and breaking up that service. All right, we've got a whole lot more on headlines. That means T. Bates time in Denver, sponsored by AMAC.
The Association of Mature American Citizens is the conservative voice for Americans 50 and older. AMAC is fighting for the values that you hold dear. Join today. Together, we can write the course of America.
President Trump is endorsing a spending bill brokered by Senate Democrats and Republicans that will keep most of the government open. Under the deal, the Senate will vote on 5 appropriation bills before tonight's deadline. Meantime, they'll continue to negotiate on a 6th one, which includes funding for the Department of Homeland Security and, by extension, ICE. In order to buy time to negotiate, the Senate is expected to pass a 2-week continuing resolution for that DHS funding bill. However, there is a chance that parts of the government could still shut down over the weekend, even if the Senate passes the measures. House Speaker Mike Johnson says that members of the House aren't scheduled to be back in Washington until Monday, and it might be difficult getting enough lawmakers back over the weekend should the House need to approve any changes in the Senate spending plans. Make sure to stay tuned to Real America's Voice. We'll, of course, have continuing coverage. And while Senate Democrats, push to pull funding from DHS, see what I did there, push to pull the funding, the agency is continuing to arrest the worst of the worst. We're talking about violent criminal illegal aliens like sexual predators and pedophiles here. While on the ground in Minneapolis on Thursday, Attorney General Pam Bondi announced 16 arrests there. The charges also include assaulting, resisting, or impeding federal agents. Bondi says, quote, "Nothing will stop DOJ from enforcing the law." And President Trump just announced his pick to lead the Federal Reserve after current Chairman Jerome Powell's term ends in May. The president and Powell have been at odds over Powell's reluctance to reduce interest rates, among other things. Former Fed Governor Kevin Warsh is 47's choice to lead the central bank moving forward. Warsh met with the president at the White House on Thursday. During his first term, the commander-in-chief selected Jerome Powell as Fed chair instead of Warsh. The second time around could be the charm, though. Mr. Trump has explicitly said that he wants the next Fed chairman to support lowering interest rates. That's a quick check of your headlines. Now let's get a quick check of your forecast. And remember, we want you to log on to our various social media platforms, be it Getter, Rumble, YouTube. Let us know where you're hanging out. And who knows, Tracy Anthony may give you a hometown forecast just for you. You can also scan the code there at the bottom of your screen and join our friends over at Weather Nation. Here's Tracy here with a quick check of your forecast. Good morning, TT.
Hey, good morning. You know, this coastal low we've been talking about the last couple of days, some good news for the Northeast. The latest model runs this morning starting to shift it a little farther offshore. So we will definitely still have some impacts as this low develops in the next 24 hours and pumps in the moisture for the Carolinas and Virginia. That's where we're expecting a good amount of snow. But as it continues to lift to the north, it's going to lift a little farther to the northeast. So yes, some shoreline impacts, but really the only areas across the Northeast that are under winter weather advisories is areas like Martha's Vineyard and Nantucket. So very isolated in nature, but a little farther down to the south, Roanoke, Raleigh, all the way down through Greenville, South Carolina. This is where we're expecting the hefty snowfall totals. We're expecting 5 to 8 inches widespread. And for the coastal areas, still could have some gusty winds and some beach erosion possible with this winter system. It's also pulling that Arctic air all the way down to South Florida, Terrance. So a lot of people getting another push of those bone-chilling cold temperatures this weekend.
Oh, so there's a chance for falling iguanas in South Florida, is there?
Yes. I have a video. I'll show that next hour.
I can't wait. Can't wait. All right, Tracy, we'll talk to you next hour then. Also, get your hometown forecast. We'll talk to you then. Thanks. Mm-hmm. Up next, new warnings for Iran as President Trump says that more action against the Islamic Republic could be coming. So how will all of this play out and how soon could it be coming? We'll take a look. First, though, a quick check of your day in forecast, your day in history. It was on this day in 1968 that communist forces launched the Tet Offensive. It was a massive surprise attack against more than 100 cities and military bases in South Vietnam during the Lunar New Year holiday. It caught U.S. and allied troops off guard. While U.S. and South Vietnamese forces pushed back and inflicted heavy casualties, the attack was used by political leaders and the media back home to claim the war was lost, even though it wasn't. Many conservatives say Tet showed what can happen when political pressures and media narratives undermine military success, leading to declining public support despite American and allied sacrifice. More American Sunrise coming your way in 2 minutes.
Real America's Voice is growing, and now it's all in one place. Introducing the new and improved RAV app, built for access, community, and choice, not paywalls. Here's the key. RAV is still free to watch. No sign-in, no membership required. Your favorite live streams, breaking coverage, and video on demand are all right there. Free, just like always.
For the War Room Posse, we have to be a force multiplier on this. We have to stick the landing.
In the White House, in the Oval Office, you're crushing it, my friend.
And if you want more, the members section is your backstage pass. Get exclusive behind-the-scenes photos and videos, insider moments from the studio and the field, and early access to new content before it goes public. Members can also unlock special experiences like virtual meet and greets, member-only auctions, and select event access, plus commercial-free viewing of certain shows inside the app. It's not just an app, it's a community. Download the RAV app today. Find it in the App Store and Google Play. At Real America's Voice, we know that you want to be a part of something bigger. That's why we've teamed up with AMAC, the Association of Mature American Citizens, to build a real community of folks who care about faith and our country's future.
There is no force on earth that can stop us from saving our country.
Want to be a part of this movement? It's easy. Just scan the QR code on your screen right now. That's right. Grab your phone and scan the QR code to join the AMAC and Real America's Voice family today. By scanning the QR code, you'll unlock exclusive content, connect with like-minded Americans, and be first in line for events that celebrate our shared values. So don't wait. Scan the QR code. Join us today and become part of a community that stands for faith, family, and freedom.
Real rights, they come from God.
With AMAC and Real America's Voice. Go ahead. Scan the QR code now.
Do I have to say breaking news in Chicago? It's cold? I don't think I need to say that. It's January in Chicago. It is January, right? Oh, soon to be February. Monday, when we come back on Monday, it'll be February 2nd. I'm a walking calendar. Thank you very much. Welcome back, everybody, to American Sunrise. I'm David Brody. All right, President Trump's border czar, Tom Homan, said that Minnesota will cooperate more with ICE. We'll see about that. And let them know when criminal illegal aliens will be released. Take a look.
I had a very good meeting with Attorney General Ellison, and he has clarified for me that county jails may notify ICE of the release dates of criminal public safety risks so ICE can take custody of them upon the release from the jail. And let me tell you why that's important. I know people are a lot concerned about the manpower has been set in law enforcement manpower. Look, I've said this many times before. I've said it for the last several years. Give us access to the illegal alien public safety threat and the safety and security of a jail.
You hear that, Jacob Fry? Governor Tim Walz. For more, let's bring in former DHS advisor and former Secret Service Special Agent Charles Marino. Charles, good to have you. What do you think? You think this will really happen? I mean, are Jacob Fry and Tim Walz secretly plotting and saying not on our watch? What do you think?
Yeah, we're going to have to watch this one closely to see if they actually follow through on what Tom Homan says they promised, because to do so, even in part, means that they're abandoning their sanctuary city and state policies. So, we're going to have to watch these. This has political implications for them as much as it did for the White House, if the White House were to step back on enforcing immigration law. So, this is a political conundrum for both parties, especially for the president, since the American people put him in office for this very issue of getting these public safety and national security threats out of the country.
Charles, President Trump is warning Iran to negotiate as the U.S. sends more warships to the region. Trump posted on Truth Social that a large American naval force is moving with what he called great power and purpose. He urged Iran to come to the table and said that the U.S. is ready to act if these talks would fail. So Iran responded by saying negotiations can only happen without threats. So what do you make of this?
That's rich.
Well, yeah, this Iran is becoming the gift that keeps on giving. We're not convinced they're giving up their nuclear program or their push to gain nuclear capabilities, especially within the region, which would just shake up the region for sure and create a nuclear arms race. You also had the protesters that have since died down, but many of which were scheduled for executions, which, based on those threats by President Trump, were reported to have been delayed and not happened. So we've got a lot of concerns over there. I would say the stability of the Ayatollah is still in question, as well as the regime over there. And I think President Trump and his administration know that they're still on shaky ground. And I think that's exactly where they want them to be. But expect possible military action based on the premise that they are not operating in good faith, Iran, regarding their nuclear program and capabilities.
All right, so you triggered me. You used the words operating in good faith, which brings me to Russia, Ukraine. President Trump saying that he's spoken with Russian President Vladimir Putin and that President Putin has promised to hold off on bombing Ukraine's capital, Kiev, for a week. 1 week. There's a 1 week pause, supposedly. Again, that brings me back to operating in good faith. Do you see President Putin following through on his promise, or will he be bombing Kiev by Sunday again, just to make President Trump look bad?
Well, I think the fact that President Trump yesterday during that cabinet meeting brought that up publicly actually puts President Putin in a tighter spot, to be honest with you, because this was more of a humanitarian request by the Trump administration to say, look, based on the record cold weather in Ukraine, just, don't do this. Stay away from this for at least a week until we talk again. So, I'm hoping that it would be honored. It would be nice if there was this type of agreement in general across the board to say, look, try not to hit spots like Kyiv that are, more populated and so that you run the risk of obviously more injuries and deaths. But we'll see. There's still a lot of negotiation going on how to end this mess that the Biden administration left here for President Trump to try and close out.
Charles, let me ask you your prediction, and I know it's hard to say, but what are your percentages in terms of whether or not Trump can get this Ukraine-Russia war to end by the end of his term? What percentages would you put on it exactly?
Yeah, I'll tell you, we're probably at around 65, 70%. Is really the numbers I've always had in my mind, because it depends both on Russia and Ukraine giving up a portion of the land that's already been taken by Russia. So our negotiations with Ukraine have proven to be just as hard as they have with President Putin here. Someone's going to have to give. Look, the famous saying about negotiations is they can't be deemed successful unless all parties leave unhappy. That's a successful negotiation. And if Ukraine and President Zelensky want to leave entirely intact, from these negotiations and thrilled to just rebuff Russia in its entirety. I don't think that's realistic. There's going to have to be some give and take here. And then with that will come some security guarantees for Ukraine from the United States. But until they're ready to give, I don't think you're going to see things like security guarantees for them.
Well, we'll see. I mean, President Trump's keeping a scorecard. It's 8.25% or 8.25, right? 8.25 wars he solved. This would be, this war has got to count for 2.50. I feel like he'll be at 10.75 after this or something like that.
I'll tell you, if he gets this done, the Nobel Peace Prize has got to be hand delivered the next day.
Oh, literally, they need to FedEx that stuff. Yeah, for sure. Okay, Charles Marino, great to have you. Thank you.
Good to see you guys.
Have a great weekend.
You too.
All right, coming up, working for a living. I had to get the Huey Lewis in the News reference in because I do love Huey Lewis in the News. But they're not really exercising. Who are we talking about? Those guys. Well, not specifically those guys, but a new study about men and exercise is interesting. We've got some results for you in a moment.
Real America's Voice is growing, and now it's all in one place. Introducing the new and improved RAV app, built for access, community, and choice, not paywalls. Here's the key. RAV is still free to watch. No sign-in, no membership required. Your favorite live streams, breaking coverage, and video on demand are all right there. Free, just like always.
For the War Room Posse, we have to be a force multiplier on this. We have to stick the landing.
In the White House, in the Oval Office, you're crushing it, my friend.
And if you want more, the members section is your backstage pass. Get exclusive behind-the-scenes photos and videos, insider moments from the studio and the field, and early access to new content before it goes public. Members can also unlock special experiences like virtual meet and greets, member-only auctions, and select event access. Plus, commercial-free viewing of certain shows inside the app. It's not just an app, it's a community. Download the RAV app today. Find it in the App Store and Google Play. At Real America's Voice, we know that you want to be a part of something bigger. That's why we've teamed up with AMAC, the Association of Mature American Citizens, to build a real community of folks who care about faith and our country's future.
There is no force on earth that can stop us from saving our country.
Want to be a part of this movement? It's easy. Just scan the QR code on your screen right now. That's right. Grab your phone and scan the QR code to join the AMAC and Real America's Voice family today. By scanning the QR code, you'll unlock exclusive content, connect with like-minded Americans, and be first in line for events that celebrate our shared values. So don't wait. Scan the QR code. Join us today and become part of a community that stands for faith, family, and freedom.
Real rights, they come from God.
With AMAC and Real America's Voice. Go ahead. Scan the QR code now.
New millionaires. All the kids are leering in fake daycares.
All right. Welcome back to American Sunrise this Freedom Friday, this Puppy Friday. I'm Dr. Gina. Thank you for joining us. It is time now for today's health news, sponsored by The Wellness Company. And under the microscope today, do men get enough exercise outside of work? Nearly 1 in 5 adults in the United States report getting almost no physical activity outside of work, according to new federal data. The report found about 22% of adults do not exercise in their free time, and where you live might play a big factor in that. Mississippi has the highest rate of inactivity, with more than 30% of residents reporting no exercise beyond their jobs, followed by West Virginia and Arkansas. On the other end of the spectrum, Washington, D.C., Colorado, Vermont, and Utah ranked around the most active in terms of working out after work, right? All right. Health experts say lack of physical activity is linked to higher risk of heart disease, diabetes, certain cancers, and other chronic conditions. They also urge adults to aim for regular exercise every week. And remember this. Strength training is what is proving to be extra beneficial. We used to think cardio, That went out with the wrong food pyramid. Now it is strength training and building those muscles that can build that lean mass that can make you healthier all over. Everybody knows the next medical crisis just around the corner, whether it comes in the form of crippling winter storm or a pandemic or something more mundane like a tick bite. You want to be safe. So that's where the Wellness Company comes in. You know the Wellness Company. We have their great doctors like Dr. Peter McCullough on the show. And Wellness Company and their doctors are medical professionals. You can trust them. Their line of prescription med kits are the gold standard when it comes to keeping you safe and healthy. Whether it's their medical emergency kit, contagion kit, the first aid kit, or the travel kit, these prescription kits contain an assortment of life-saving medications and guidebooks to assist in the proper use of the meds. Rest assured knowing that you can have emergency antibiotics, antivirals, and antiparasitics on hand to help keep you and your family safe. Go to www.twc.health/RAV today. Give it an order. That's twc.health/RAV. Use the promo code RAV. That'll save you 10%. Next medical emergency isn't a question of if, it's when. A storm, pandemic, tick bite. Be ready. The Wellness Company delivers doctor-prescribed medical emergency, contagion, first aid, and travel kits stocked with antibiotics, antivirals, and antiparasitics, plus clear guides inside the packages, inside the kits. Trusted physicians, real medicine, peace of mind. Prepare now. Don't wait. Let's send it over to David.
All right, Gina, thank you so much. FBI agents executed a court-authorized raid at the Fulton County election hub in Georgia, that's in the Atlanta area, seizing 2020 ballots, voter rolls, and other records as part of an election laws investigation. Now, the Director of National Intelligence, Tulsi Gabbard, was actually seen at the site. It is a highly unusual move for her office, drawing criticism from Democrats. Here's what Virginia Senator Mark Warner had to say from his car. Have a look.
The Trump administration, in a move that should scare the hell out of all of us, went to seize election materials from the 2020 election that Donald Trump lost in Fulton County, Georgia. What does this mean for the fall? And what should particularly concern us is, guess who showed up at this FBI raid? Director of National Intelligence, Tulsi Gabbard. Tulsi Gabbard has nothing to do with election security. Tulsi Gabbard has even been in charge of dismantling what was called the Foreign Malign Influence Center to try to make sure foreign countries don't interfere in our elections. This complete Trump loyalist somehow popping up on an FBI raid? What the heck was she doing? We got to stand up and step up against ICE. We also got to stand up and step up to protect our elections coming this year.
He sounds like Charlie Brown's teacher. Let's bring in RAV Chief White House Correspondent Brian Glenn. Brian, technically, in her role, she isn't allowed, at least by law, from taking part in domestic law enforcement. My understanding, though, is she was just there to observe. What are you hearing about this, and what are your views on it? And good morning to you, sir.
Good morning to you guys. I have been watching the reaction from the left and a lot on the mainstream media just going nuts over the fact that Tulsi Gabbard was on the ground there in Fulton County. Now, earlier on the early edition of American Sunrise, I had Dr. Janice Jostin on there, who was really pivotal in all of these investigations and knows more about this than any of us do. But she said this is something that they have begged for people to look into. The unsecured ballots, the unverified signatures, the absentee ballots that were in. There's so much mishandling of those documents in regards to Georgia. And so I know that many in the state that were screaming from the rooftops about some of the discrepancies in Georgia. It's now time for some of that stuff to be officially investigated. And I think the fact that Tulsi Gabbard is on the ground looks into much, I think, a further dimension of this, of who had access to some of these machines. Was there any type of breach on the security side of this voting process? And you don't blame all Democrats in this election, I would call it a scandal, because there were many Republicans in office there that absolutely did nothing to wave any red flag after the 2020 election. They simply took the results, even though people were saying that there were problems, and they moved on. And these same individuals now are still in control of the election process there in that state. So what does it look like for 2026? Will those elections in Georgia be secure for the midterms? That's to be decided.
Yep.
Brian, I got to ask you, statement from Abe Lowell, attorney for Don Lemon, says that he was taken into custody last night in Los Angeles, where he was covering the Grammy Awards. And instead of investigating the federal agents who killed 2 peaceful Minnesota protesters, the Trump Justice Department is donating time to this arrest, and he's calling it an aberration of our First Amendment. Brian, I was just going to let you comment about that.
Yeah, I do. I kind of wish that we'd had a little bit more accountability towards some of the, and we talked about this earlier, some of the real crimes that have been committed. Obviously, Don Lemon and his group of individuals that came in there had no right. That was not the point. That was not the place. That was not the time to do any of that. And of course, now they've got to face the repercussions of those decisions. But yes, there's also real crimes and real victims that I wish that we spent more time on. It reminds me of kind of back when the Biden DOJ went after, grandmothers who basically, peacefully walked upon the steps. Next thing you know, they have their door kicked in, getting handcuffed and questioned. So,
wait, Brian, you don't think this is a rightful arrest?
Oh, no, absolutely. No, I absolutely do. I want to see more of that kind of stuff. I'm sorry. Maybe I should have been clearer on that. I want to see more arrest on violent criminals that are assaulting police agents, and then also people that are in the process of breaking up basically a house of worship. I'm sorry, I should have been a little bit clearer on that, Dr. Gina.
Well, yeah. and just to be clear, I'm looking at the actual charges that he's been the charges that have been filed. It's conspiracy to deprive rights. It can include fines, but also up to 10 years in prison. And this is what it means. It's a federal crime. It says it makes it illegal for 2 or more individuals to conspire, harm, oppress, threaten, or intimidate anyone in their exercise of rights or privileges secured by the U.S. Constitution. So that's obviously what they were doing. They're going into a worship service. So that's
it.
And it's to scare people. Yeah. I mean, let's be real. There are a lot of whack liberals that have gone into churches and shot them up. So that's pretty scary when you see that happen in your church. They better not walk into our church, though, I'll tell you what, because in Florida, we have a right to carry. Yeah.
I agree. Do you remember what President Trump said on defacing the statues in Washington, that it was an automatic 10-year prison sentence? That immediately stopped all the vandalism that was happening on those monuments. So that's a good precedent.
Yes, absolutely. Brian Glenn, you're a good precedent, too. Thanks for being with us.
Thank you. Have a good weekend.
You too.
Yes,
Happy Friday. All right, coming up, the future of space. Rav has been on the ground at the SpaceCom conference in Orlando, Florida. Correspondent David Zier is going to join us from the ground right here next on American Sunrise.
Minnesota, you might have heard there's quite a load of money missing.
Real America's Voice is growing, and now it's all in one place. Introducing the new and improved RAV app, built for access, community, and choice, not paywalls. Here's the key. RAV is still free to watch. No sign-in, no membership required. Your favorite live streams, breaking coverage, and video on demand are all right there. Free, just like always.
For the War Room Posse, we have to be a force multiplier on this. We have to stick the landing.
In the White House, in the Oval Office, you're crushing it, my friend.
And if you want more, the members section is your backstage pass. Get exclusive behind-the-scenes photos and videos, insider moments from the studio and the field, and early access to new content before it goes public. Members can also unlock special experiences like virtual meet and greets, member-only auctions, and select event access, plus commercial-free viewing of certain shows inside the app. It's not just an app, it's a community. Download the RAV app today. Find it in the App Store and Google Play. At Real America's Voice, we know that you want to be a part of something bigger. That's why we've teamed up with AMAC, the Association of Mature American Citizens. to build a real community of folks who care about faith and our country's future.
There is no force on earth that can stop us from saving our country.
Want to be a part of this movement? It's easy. Just scan the QR code on your screen right now. That's right. Grab your phone and scan the QR code to join the AMAC and Real America's Voice family today. By scanning the QR code, you'll unlock exclusive content, connect with like-minded Americans, and be first in line for events that celebrate our shared values. So don't wait. Scan the QR code. Join us today and become part of a community that stands for faith, family, and freedom.
Real rights, they come from God.
With AMAC and Real America's Voice. Go ahead. Scan the QR code now.
Welcome back. Coffee pods are easy, but most of them are just caffeine and nothing else. Rejuvenate pods are built differently. They're clean pods infused with CAAKG, a compound linked to longevity, metabolism, and deep cellular energy. It's the easiest way to get better focus, smoother energy, and long-term benefits without changing your routine. I choose them because they match the lifestyle I want. More energy, more clarity, and more intention in how I start my day. If you're going to drink coffee anyway, make it one that actually supports the life you're building. Head to 1775coffee.com/Rav and try Rejuvenate pods today. Don't just drink coffee, rejuvenate. All right, now that we are caffeinated, it's time to stay awake, not woke. And today we are discussing Space Command. The global commercial space industry has been gathering for SpaceCom, the premier space conference and expo at the Orange County Convention Center. This week, leaders from NASA, the U.S. Space Force, aerospace companies, and international delegations are showcasing cutting-edge technologies, building partnerships, and driving innovation in space exploration and commerce. RAV correspondent and the host of Breaking Point, David Zier, has been on the ground for this event and joins us now live. David, that looks so cool at that event. That's a futuristic car I'm seeing behind you.
Actually, Emily, good morning. I'm sitting in the lunar roving vehicle that was used in the last 3 Apollo missions. Incredible technologies for its time. But the largest payload ever, I believe, is going to take off maybe after February 6th or on the 6th as the window is open for Artemis 2 to take off from Cape Canaveral here. It'll circle the moon ahead of the next mission. We'll actually land there in a new space race with the Chinese to get to the south pole of the moon where there might be water which can create hydrogen and they can settle the moon and with colonies and stuff. But I interviewed so many incredible exhibitors here, including MMEC to secure microchips faster, according to the CHIPS Act of 2022. So we're not dependent on Taiwan and China. I interviewed NASA officials. I also spoke to the kids from the first robotic competition and also the Mojave Spaceport, hypersonic jets being tested, the XB-1 Zoom supersonic jet that just tested a few weeks ago, broke the sound barrier without any noise, which may revolutionize military and civilian aviation here. And also I interviewed the U.S. Space Command 4-star General Stephen Whiting. It'll air tomorrow on Breaking Point. I got great interviews on Breaking Point, from here with the great people on the ground. Space armor technology, threats. Russia may have a WMD in space that can knock down our satellites in lower orbit and geosynchronous orbit, maybe in threat from space lasers from China on the ground, terrestrial-based lasers. So much going on here. An incredible conference at SpaceCom 2026.
It certainly sounds like it. Sounds like on your next show on Breaking Point, we're going to be calling you astronaut David Zier, reporting for duty. You're learning so much there. Yeah. What is the big thing at the event today, the big thing that you're looking forward to seeing throughout your coverage throughout the rest of the day?
Well, I've been on the ground for about 2 weeks between North Carolina and Minnesota, and then down here in Florida here. Bill Nye, the science guy, spoke last night as a keynote speaker. But today it's going to be a little bit quieter. I'm going to get out of here in a couple of hours. I'm going to do some more interviews on the ground here. Really incredible. And by the way, I've got a great show tomorrow. I got interviews with the 18th Airborne Commander from Fort Bragg last Friday. Also have a rep from the National Republican Hispanic Assembly, who's the state chair, where Trump got 50% of the vote on the ground in North Carolina. Can he keep it? So many important things going on all over the place. So it's going to be a good show.
It's going to be a great show. David Zier, thank you so much for joining us this morning.
Thanks, Emily.
Coming up, the Book of Ruth. What are the main takeaways from this important part of the Bible? Bible history guy Jim Mosley breaks it all down for us. And before we go to break, Real America's Music has released the new song, The Somali Waltz, and it continues to quickly climb up the charts. As of this weekend, it reached number 4 on the iTunes country charts and in the top 35 overall. Here's a preview. Da, 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 da. Da, 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 da. Da, 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 da. The Somali Waltz.
Minnesota's headlines are getting wild. Tim Walz and Ilhan Omar are being accused of massive fraud, and it's so bad, all you can do is laugh at this point. So from Real America's Music, the label that brought you the #1 hit, Anthem of the Free, comes a brand new song from singer-songwriter Natasha Owens, The Somali Waltz. Let's make the music industry mad and run this to #1. Scan the QR code or search The Somali Waltz on iTunes and buy it right now. The Somali Waltz, available everywhere.
The Somali Waltz, and coming soon to a state near you. New name saying to the Somali Waltz.
Real America's Voice is growing, and now it's all in one place. Introducing the new and improved RAV app, built for access, community, and choice, not paywalls. Here's the key. RAV is still free to watch. No sign-in, no membership required. Your favorite live streams, breaking coverage, and video on demand are all right there. Free, just like always.
For the War Room Posse, we have to be a force multiplier on this. We have to stick the landing.
In the White House, in the Oval Office, you're crushing it, my friend.
And if you want more, the members section is your backstage pass. Get exclusive behind-the-scenes photos and videos, insider moments from the studio and the field, and early access to new content before it goes public. Members can also unlock special experiences like virtual meet and greets, member-only auctions, and select event access. Plus, commercial-free viewing of certain shows inside the app. It's not just an app, it's a community. Download the RAV app today. Find it in the App Store and Google Play. At Real America's Voice, we know that you want to be a part of something bigger. That's why we've teamed up with AMAC, the Association of Mature American Citizens, to build a real community of folks who care about faith and our country's future.
There is no force on earth that can stop us from saving our country.
Want to be a part of this movement? It's easy. Just scan the QR code on your screen right now. That's right. Grab your phone and scan the QR code to join the AMAC and Real America's Voice family today. By scanning the QR code, you'll unlock exclusive content, connect with like-minded Americans, and be first in line for events that celebrate our shared values. So don't wait. Scan the QR code. Join us today and become part of a community that stands for faith, family, and freedom.
Real rights, they come from God.
With AMAC and Real America's Voice. Go ahead. Scan the QR code now.
God bless the USA.
In the beginning, God created the heaven and the earth.
All right, welcome back to American Sunrise. It is time for our Moment of Faith, brought to us by Lee Greenwood and the God Bless the USA Bible. In focus today, most of us think of the book of Ruth as a simple love story, but it actually takes place in one of the darkest periods in Israel's history. There's a lot more going on beneath the surface. So for more, we bring in the one and only Jim Mosley. He's the Duke of D.C., The American Dream. That is the book that he wrote. And also, of course, discovering Jesus' disciples, who they were, what they believed, and what they actually achieved. And most of all, at least fun part to me, is that he co-wrote a book with me, The Days of Creation by Heart, teaching children how God made the world. But around here, we simply call him the Bible history guy. Good morning, Dr. Mosley. Thank you for being with us.
Good morning.
Yeah. So tell us about this. I love how you break down and humanize the Bible in ways that I just never understood before. So let's go.
Well, I always try to put myself in the place of the people in the story and look around and ask myself, what must they have felt? And so when I do that, we always think of the book of Ruth as a romance, and it is, but it's a survival story in the dark days of the Judges. And it's one of the few stories in the Bible where God never appears. So we have Naomi returns to Bethlehem after losing her husband and her sons. And her widowed daughter-in-law, Ruth, says, I'm going to come with you. She goes, where you go, I'll follow. So Ruth, although she's a foreigner, she chooses Israel's God, joins the covenant community. She sets about to provide for herself and her mother-in-law. Now notice, Naomi never offers to work, but Ruth does. She volunteers to gather leftover grain so they can both survive. And that's where she meets Boaz, a wealthy relative Naomi. Now, Boaz protects Ruth. He makes sure she's not harassed, and he treats her with dignity. And the Bible calls that hesed, mercy, the quality Scripture attributes to God a lot. But then Naomi makes a calculated move. She sends Ruth alone at night to Boaz's place, dressed up and perfumed, and tells her to lie at his feet. Okay, this is a transactional plot. It's not a romance. It's a risky scheme for survival. But neither Ruth nor Boaz fall into the trap. What saves the moment is hesed again, mercy and true love. These two are a godly woman and a godly man, and by acting in a godly way, they turn a self-serving plot into an honorable covenant. That foreign woman, Ruth, becomes the great-great-grandmother of King David, an ancestor of Jesus. So the chosen people of whatever origin are those who choose God. And this couple stands out like Joseph and Mary as a biblical example of what a loving, faithful marriage really should be like.
Yeah. Well, I was just there. Actually saw the threshing floor where Ruth and Boaz had their moment, which is right near where Jesus was born, which is right near where Rachel is buried. It's the coolest thing in the world to go there and see it with your own eyes. And right near the well, by the way, as well. So much history happened all in just such a small area. It's just astonishing to me every time I'm in Israel. But I love you bringing this to life for us, and I'm glad to know the correction on that story.
Well, yeah, it's a beautiful story, and it shows that the perfect marriage isn't Abraham and Sarah or Jacob and Rachel or Solomon and the Shulamite or Esther and King Xerxes. It's Boaz of Bethlehem and Ruth the Moabite.
Beautiful. Dr. Jim Mosley, thank you for being with us.
Thank you.
All right. Back with the second hour of American Sunrise. 2 minutes, you guys. Stay with us.
Introducing the limited edition God Bless the USA Bible, inspired by Lee Greenwood's hit song and the most recognized patriotic anthem in America, God Bless the USA. The God Bless the USA large print leather-bound King James Bible also contains America's founding documents, the U.S. Constitution, the Bill of Rights, the Declaration of Independence, and the Pledge of Allegiance, along with a handwritten chorus to Lee Greenwood's song, God Bless the USA. With its large print and slim design, this Bible invites you to explore God's Word anywhere, anytime. The God Bless the USA Bible makes the perfect gift and cherished family heirloom keepsake to pass on to future generations. Designed for an easy reading experience in the trusted King James Version translation, this large print Bible is perfect to take to church, Bible study, work, and for traveling. Order yours today at GodBlessTheUSABible.com.
Real America's Voice is growing, and now it's all in one place. Introducing the new and improved RAV app, built for access, community, and choice, not paywalls. Here's the key. RAV is still free to watch. No sign-in, no membership required. Your favorite live streams, breaking coverage, and video on demand are all right there. Free, just like always.
For the War Room Posse, we have to be a force multiplier on this. We have to stick the landing.
In the White House, in the Oval Office, you're crushing it, my friend.
And if you want more, the members section is your backstage pass. Get exclusive behind-the-scenes photos and videos, insider moments from the studio and the field, and early access to new content before it goes public. Members can also unlock special experiences like virtual meet and greets, member-only auctions, and select event access. Plus, commercial-free viewing of certain shows inside the app. It's not just an app, it's a community. Download the RAV app today. Find it in the App Store and Google Play. At Real America's Voice, we know that you want to be a part of something bigger. That's why we've teamed up with AMAC, the Association of Mature American Citizens. to build a real community of folks who care about faith and our country's future.
There is no force on earth that can stop us from saving our country.
Want to be a part of this movement? It's easy. Just scan the QR code on your screen right now. That's right. Grab your phone and scan the QR code to join the AMAC and Real America's Voice family today. By scanning the QR code, you'll unlock exclusive content, connect with like-minded Americans, and be first in line for events that celebrate our shared values. So don't wait. Scan the QR code. Join us today and become part of a community that stands for faith, family, and freedom.
Real rights, they come from God.
With AMAC and Real America's Voice. Go ahead. Scan the QR code now.
Coming up on this second hour of American Sunrise, a deal is on the table to keep the government funded. However, money for the Department of Homeland Security would be on hold for 2 weeks to give Senate Democrats and Republicans time to negotiate. Here's a question for you. Is this really a deal or is it simply a stalling tactic? We'll discuss. Plus, President Trump's latest cabinet meeting focuses on everything from ICE operations to the Federal Reserve. Well, this morning, the commander-in-chief making a major announcement on the latter. Find out what it is. And later, Tennessee Senator Marsha Blackburn joining us live to talk about her efforts to protect you from ticket price gouging involving concert giant Live Nation. We'll also get an update from her on today's government funding votes. Those stories and so much more on this second hour of American Sunrise, which starts right now.
Good morning, America.
Welcome to American Sunrise.
Whether it's culture,
we have breaking news to share with you.
Politics.
President Trump is joining us live now from Florida.
We've got you covered.
This is what it looks like to be a patriot.
We have to protect the American family.
The American dream is still alive.
I'm David Brody.
I'm Terrance.
And I'm Dr. Gina.
Welcome back, everybody, to the second hour of American Sunrise. I'm David Brody coming to you from D.C. Let's bring in Dr. G in West Palm Beach, T. Bates in our Denver newsroom. Good morning to both of you. It has not been a good morning for Don Lemon. He was arrested last night in Los Angeles, as we've been talking about, guys, and we have some more information on that. Apparently, he was taken off to jail. I don't know if he's still in jail. We're still trying to figure out. 5 others were arrested as well, we should point out. The charge is conspiracy to deprive rights. It carries up to 10 years in jail. You could get a fine, but typically it does carry jail time. It also says this is the conspiracy to deprive rights. This is how they define it here. It's 2 or more individuals conspiring to harm, oppress, threaten, or intimidate anyone in their exercise of rights or privileges secured by the U.S. Constitution or laws. And so there you have it. This is the city's church, guys, Gina, in Minneapolis. Don Lemon and his band of cohorts, and I don't know if cohorts is the right word. I have a few stronger words, but we'll use it for now, decided to interrupt a church service. Your take, Dr. G.
Well, I think it was one of you two who actually pointed out initially when we saw this footage, the woman who just stood there and prayed over the congregation in the middle of all this. I don't know that I would have had the guts to do that, but that's faith. That's faith, and I think that's such a beautiful example of just faith. I don't know, just not being afraid and just knowing that God is sovereign. But no, I don't understand the intricacies of the law well enough, you know, not being an attorney, to really comment on the whole First Amendment thing. But it does seem there's a moral imperative here that should matter, Terrance. There's something so wrong about walking into church where people have been shot whole scale lots of times. Mass shootings happen in churches with regularity. And so to walk in and cause that sort of disruption in a place of worship seems to me to be so morally reprehensible that it just should completely be illegal. I feel like those people should have been carted out the minute they did it. But I'm not sure. I don't understand the law well enough. Go ahead, T.
And Dr. Gina, I'm just going to add this. I think there's a message being sent today from the Department of Justice that it is going to be steadfast and aggressive in terms of pursuing these sorts of cases. You may remember just last week after this initially happened, a judge threw the case out and basically said to the DOJ, you can't arrest the guy. There's no standing here. And the DOJ continued to pursue the case. And so now we're seeing an arrest. So the DOJ is sending a message here as well. In other headlines, guys, President Trump endorsing a spending bill brokered by Senate Democrats and Republicans that will keep most of the government open. Under this particular deal, the Senate is going to vote on 5 appropriation bills before tonight's deadline. In the meantime, they'll continue to negotiate on the 6th one, which includes funding for the Department of Homeland Security and, by extension, ICE. In order to buy time to negotiate, the Senate is expected to pass a 2-week continuing resolution for that DHS funding bill. And while Senate Democrats push to pull funding from DHS, the agency is continuing to arrest the worst of the worst. We're talking about violent criminals, illegal aliens like sexual predators and pedophiles. While on the ground in Minneapolis on Thursday, Attorney General Pam Bondi announcing the arrests of 16 people. The charges also included assaulting, resisting, or impeding federal agents. And President Trump just announced his pick to lead the Federal Reserve after current Chairman Jerome Powell's term ends in May. The president and Powell have been at odds over Powell's reluctance to reduce interest rates, among other things. Former Fed Governor Kevin Warsh is 47's choice to lead the central bank moving forward. Warsh, by the way, met with President Trump at the White House on Thursday. During his first term in office, the commander-in-chief selected Jerome Powell as Fed chairman instead of Warsh. The second time could be the charm, though. We shall find out soon. It's a quick check of your headlines. Now let's get a quick check of your forecast with Weather Nation meteorologist Tracy Anthony. Tracy, you've got some hometown forecasts for us. Good morning.
Good morning, and I'm so glad you brought up the iguanas last hour because I've got the video. We're already starting to see these iguanas acting differently. But in Miami, look at this. As we get into Sunday morning, 38 degrees. Now, Miami, you haven't felt temperatures that cold in about 16 years. So this hometown forecast coming in from Getter Stacy T. Now, Miami, it has been since December 28th, 2010, since you have felt any temperatures down in the 30s. And we've been in the 40s here over the last couple of mornings. And that's when these iguanas start to get sluggish. Usually once it drops below 40, that's when they fall from the trees and get completely stunned. But you can tell this guy really not moving too quickly. Now, Wilbur, North Carolina, this is where we do have that coastal system that's going to bring big impacts across the region. We're talking 5 to 8 inches of snow between Friday and Saturday, and temperature-wise, finally warming up into next week. So the good news is we do have a pattern change. That's the silver lining. But for this weekend, we do have those winter storm warnings, Terrance.
All right. Thanks so much, Tracy. We'll check back with you later. Have a good weekend. All right. Let's get a quick check of the other news of the day. Let's get you over to David. David, good morning.
Good morning, T. Bates. Okay, so this partial government shutdown may be on hold, but only for now. Democrats in the White House reached a late-night deal to temporarily fund the Department of Homeland Security. Now, this, of course, as the nation grapples with the fallout from 2 deadly shootings by federal agents in Minneapolis. Here's the deal. So under the agreement, Homeland Security funding is split off from this broader spending bill. So you got about 2 weeks. That's what we're doing here. I'm not doing anything, actually, but we're buying 2 weeks for both sides to negotiate new limits on President Trump's immigration enforcement surge. I'm just reading prompter. I'm not doing any of this. Joining us now with reaction is former Texas Congressman Louis Gohmert. Congressman, good morning to you. How's this going down in Texas? I mean, I'm curious about your reaction to this deal. I feel like this is a broken record. It's just like this is what Congress has been doing for decades now. I know you're no longer in Congress, but this is the same old song and dance.
It is, and it's unfortunate when you peel off Homeland Security. This is the same thing that happened in early 2011 because Boehner didn't have the nerve to go ahead and push through Homeland Security, and he allowed that to be peeled off. That's exactly what the Democrats want to do because they don't want all the others spending bills used as leverage to get that passed. And once that's peeled off, then you don't have the leverage to get Homeland Security passed. But, there was a development late last night before midnight where they had a holdup on the vote in the Senate. Lindsey Graham and a few others senators were really upset. The Democrat senators added they were not willing to have a provision they wanted pulled that said you could not sue if your personal information was seized by the FBI. And there were a number of us who had our personal information seized by the FBI, and we can't even find out what judge signed it. And it was a magistrate. We can't find out. The only way to find out is to go to court. And the Democrats are telegraphing that they must have been complicit in that. Why else would they care about not having suits? But they have gone to the mats and said, no, you can't have a provision where you can sue to find out what all rights of yours were breached. So that threw a sticking point late last night. I bet they get that worked out. But wow, what a thing for the Democrats to be scared to death so much that they would make that a sticking point. No, you can't sue to find out that we all knew what was going on with your personal records. Pretty amazing.
Wow. No doubt. So I'm going to follow you down that road because it is amazing. I would say incredulous that anyone would oppose that. You mentioned us, which alludes to you having been involved in that as well, or at least having had the FBI pull your records. Do you plan to sue if it's a possibility? How would you like to move forward in order to find out why and what judge signed off on this and just to get the details?
Yeah, we hadn't even been able, like I said, to find out what judge signed it. And the district judge that didn't sign it, that gave it to a magistrate, said, oh, well, I didn't know there were any members of Congress involved in that. In other words, I did not inquire. I did not know whose rights I was stripping away when I authorized this whole thing and turned it over to a magistrate. We can't find out the magistrate's name. There's no other way to go to it but to sue. And so I've got Tom Fitt and Judicial Watch. They're helping try to get to the bottom of it for me and some others. So, yeah, we want to get to the bottom. If you don't, then these things keep happening. And if the Senate includes this, where we can't get to the bottom of who all was involved, who all knew, who all was complicit, then it will keep happening. And that's why it's got to stop. This. You won't hear me say this very often, please understand, but God bless Lindsey Graham for taking a stand.
Right.
All right, Louis, I want to get to one more thing with you, and we're almost out of time. I want to ask you about Tina Peters, because I know you're following it. Our audience is very interested in it. This is just an aberration. Why hasn't something been done? I've heard from our audience and from many following the case closely. My good friend Brenda King is all over this. And I've heard that she could be brought in as a witness to the crimes that happened there, and that might be a way to get her out. I'm just curious what you know about this and especially what we as activists can do about this.
Well, if she had been pursued under federal law, there's no doubt in my mind that President Trump would have already cleaned that up, pardoned, and this would be done. This is somebody that was just trying to get to the bottom of any illegality in the 2020 election. And boy, they went after tooth and nail. So So that's what's made it so difficult. It's all within the state. The feds, the president can't pardon her. And so that's what's made it so difficult, trying to find a way to help her from a federal standpoint. And so we'll see. But I know there are people that are trying to figure out a way to do just what you're talking about.
Yeah. Gold Star mom lost her husband, very ill with cancer, needs to be out of there. She's in solitary confinement right now. Whole thing is ridiculous.
We'll see if Jared Polis, the governor, commutes her sentence. There's been talk that he might. We'll see. I don't know about that, but we'll see. All right, Congressman Gomer, thanks for being here. Really appreciate you.
I love being with you guys.
Thanks,
Thank you.
Louie.
You're a good way to start the day. You bet.
You are. Thank you.
No, you are.
You are.
You are.
All right, coming up, cracks are emerging inside the GOP as some Latino Republicans warned that President Trump's immigration crackdown could cost the party the midterms. Interesting. We're going to break it down when we come back.
Real America's Voice is growing, and now it's all in one place. Introducing the new and improved RAV app, built for access, community, and choice, not paywalls. Here's the key. RAV is still free to watch. No sign-in, no membership required. Your favorite live streams, breaking coverage, and video on demand are all right there. Free, just like always.
For the War Room Posse, we have to be a force multiplier on this. We have to stick the landing.
In the White House, in the Oval Office, you're crushing it, my friend.
And if you want more, the members section is your backstage pass. Get exclusive behind-the-scenes photos and videos, insider moments from the studio and the field, and early access to new content before it goes public. Members can also unlock special experiences like virtual meet and greets, member-only auctions, and select event access. Plus, commercial-free viewing of certain shows inside the app. It's not just an app, it's a community. Download the RAV app today. Find it in the App Store and Google Play. At Real America's Voice, we know that you want to be a part of something bigger. That's why we've teamed up with AMAC, the Association of Mature American Citizens, to build a real community of folks who care about faith and our country's future.
There is no force on earth that can stop us from saving our country.
Want to be a part of this movement? It's easy. Just scan the QR code on your screen right now. That's right. Grab your phone and scan the QR code to join the AMAC and Real America's Voice family today. By scanning the QR code, you'll unlock exclusive content, connect with like-minded Americans, and be first in line for events that celebrate our shared values. So don't wait. Scan the QR code. Join us today and become part of a community that stands for faith, family, and freedom.
Real rights, they come from God.
With AMAC and Real America's Voice. Go ahead. Scan the QR code now.
Welcome back to American Sunrise. I'm Emily Finn. Time now to drain the swamp, and this morning we are flushing out divisions within the Republican Party. Several Latino GOP lawmakers are now publicly breaking ranks, saying President Trump's immigration crackdown could cost the party control of Congress. From Florida State Senator Eliana Garcia blaming top White House advisor Stephen Miller to House members Carlos Jimenez and Maria Elvira Salazar, sounding the alarm. Some of the party's most prominent Latino voices say Hispanic voters are moving away from the GOP. New polling shows majority Latino disapproval of ICE and the administration's immigration approach, raising a tough question for Republicans. Can they hold their gains without Trump on the ballot in November? We want to know what you, our viewers, think. Let us know on Rumble or Getter. Hop on and let your voice be heard. Coming up on American Sunrise, are concert tickets too expensive? Senators say bots are to blame, and Live Nation is in the hot seat. A fiery hearing, new laws on the table, and Kid Rock calling the system rigged. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Real Real America's Voice is growing, and now it's all in one place. Introducing the new and improved RAV app, built for access, community, and choice, not paywalls. Here's the key. RAV is still free to watch. No sign-in, no membership required. Your favorite live streams, breaking coverage, and video on demand are all right there. Free, just like always.
For the War Room Posse, we have to be a force multiplier on this. We have to stick the landing.
In the White House, in the Oval Office, you're crushing it, my friend.
And if you want more, the members section is your backstage pass. Get exclusive behind-the-scenes photos and videos, insider moments from the studio and the field, and early access to new content before it goes public. Members can also unlock special experiences like virtual meet and greets, member-only auctions, and select event access. Plus, commercial-free viewing of certain shows inside the app. It's not just an app, it's a community. Download the RAV app today. Find it in the App Store and Google Play. At Real America's Voice, we know that you want to be a part of something bigger. That's why we've teamed up with AMAC, the Association of Mature American Citizens, to build a real community of folks who care about faith and our country's future.
There is no force on earth that can stop us from saving our country.
Want to be a part of this movement? It's easy. Just scan the QR code on your screen right now. That's right. Grab your phone and scan the QR code to join the AMAC and Real America's Voice family today. By scanning the QR code, you'll unlock exclusive content, connect with like-minded Americans, and be first in line for events that celebrate our shared values. So don't wait. Scan the QR code. Join us today and become part of a community that stands for faith, family, and freedom.
Real rights, they come from God.
With AMAC and Real America's Voice. Go ahead. Scan the QR code now.
North Dakota, good morning to you. We are showing North Dakota because it looks very similar to New York City, cold and snowy. We're getting ready for the opening bell at the New York Stock Exchange. We'll take it to New York for the opening bell here in short order. First, though, let's get you over to David Brody. David, good morning.
Good morning, T. Bates. Okay, so there's a bipartisan crackdown coming, and it may be for this online ticket industry. Senator Marsha Blackburn led a heated hearing on Capitol Hill, pressuring concert giant Live Nation to do more to stop these bots and scalpers from driving up ticket prices. Lawmakers say fans are getting priced out, artists are losing control of their own shows, and current laws aren't being enforced, hence the need for Congress to do something. Joining us now with more is Senator Blackburn herself. Senator, thanks for being here. So tell us more about this. I mean, this is a big deal and it affects really so many people in this country.
Well, it is indeed, and it is a consumer protection issue. In 2016, we passed the Bipartisan Bicameral Bots Act. It was signed into law. And the FTC, under the Biden administration, really didn't carry out any enforcements of this. They let Live Nation, Ticketmaster kind of have their way. And admittedly, in the testimony before us, Live Nation Ticketmaster admitted on their C-suite email, someone had said it was kind of an inside joke that they turned a blind eye to the bots that were scraping up tickets, driving up the prices on the resale market, and the fans are the ones who can't see the concert, the show, the sporting event, because they've been priced out of the marketplace. And this is not something that is a neighbor or a friend that buys 5 tickets and sells 2 of them. This is groups, big groups that make a lot of money, like Key Investment Group out of Maryland that makes millions of dollars. They use a bot, they scrape the tickets, they immediately send them to the resale market at 2, 3, 4, even the Taylor Swift tickets, 70 times the face value of the ticket.
My goodness. So what is Congress, what are you trying to do here specifically? Is there something, what can Congress do in terms of the laws and consumer protection, that type of thing?
Yes, we had a great hearing. We had Kid Rock, we had the independent venues that were there, and we also had a representative from the resellers as well as Ticketmaster. Now, enforcing the Bots Act and requiring Ticketmaster and the resale sites to report these bots and bad actors so that we can block these bots, bad actors, and brokers that are scamming the American public. That's a good start. Second, to eliminate speculative ticketing. David, this is when somebody buys a ticket and the seller actually does not own the ticket. So you get a fake front delivered to your email. You go to the event and either the ticket is disappeared from your wallet or you find out that the ticket doesn't scan. So you've been scammed. And that happens at every venue. Also, ending these brokers from selling tickets for events that have not been scheduled. And that also happens at some of the independent venues. Then it's up to the venue to go say, no, this is not booked at our venue on this date. We do not have this act booked. So putting some penalties in place for that. There are a lot of people, and there's actually an antitrust suit right now. Live Nation, Ticketmaster came together in a merger in 2009, and it was called an experiment, and it has turned out to be a failure. It has driven up the cost of tickets. It has encouraged the bots. It has made it impossible for artists to control the prices that are set on their tickets. And see, as tickets are resold and the price is hiked up, the artist doesn't get a penny of that. It is all going to the middleman, that reseller. So we want Ticketmaster to clean their act up. And David, it's so interesting. I told the CEO when he was before us, I said, look, the local power company gets hit by cyber attacks every day, dozens, hundreds. So does the local bank. They have figured out how to block these bots. And it is inconceivable that Ticketmaster can't figure out how to block the bots.
So glad you're on the front lines of doing something there for sure. Let me ask you, so we have the front lines. Here we go with the partial government shutdown. What's your sense here at the latest? We understand there's a deal that's been reached. I know Lindsey Graham is making some waves there on the Hill. What's happening exactly? So there is a funding deal in place, apparently, between the White House and Schumer and the Democrats. What's going on with a vote?
Yes.
What's the timetable? Where are you? When is the vote going to happen? All that good stuff.
Well, the vote should happen this afternoon, and the deal would be to pass 5 of the appropriations bills. That would bring us to a total of 11, and then put a continuing resolution on Homeland Security while they work out some issues over the ICE funding. Now, it is imperative that we continue the money to Homeland Security. We have just had a massive winter storm. It paralyzed much of the country, including Tennessee, my home state, which suffered an ice storm. And FEMA funding comes through DHS. You cannot interrupt that funding right now. We've got another storm that will hit the East Coast this weekend. Also, TSA funding, Coast Guard funding, all that comes through DHS. So the Democrats are wrong in their approach. And actually, David, law enforcement, federal law enforcement gets more money through the CR than they do through the appropriations bill that we have passed, because for the first time in decades, Republicans have managed to bend the spending curve down on that discretionary spending. That is something we as conservatives have wanted to see. We've been able to do it in these bills. It is important to get off the Biden budget and get onto the Trump Republican budget and bend these spending curves down.
For sure. 20 seconds or so, when you mentioned the weather in Tennessee, I know the Tennessee National Guard is on the ground there. You're obviously heavily involved. Give us the latest. Sadly, we only have about 20 to 25 seconds, but please go ahead.
Yes, we have had 13 fatalities. Pray for those families. Everyone in Tennessee, stay off the road, stay home, give the crews and first responders room to work. And the governor, the National Guard, the Tennessee Highway Patrol, working working with local elected officials, have done a really great job. The worst of the hit is in the Nashville area. Nashville Electric Service just has not been able to get the number of crews out there that are needed. We hope they take some of the help that is being offered and get people back online.
Senator Marsha Blackburn, great to have you. You are a modern-day patriot. We really appreciate you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, heading to Terrance in Denver now for the opening bell at the New York Stock Exchange, sponsored by AMAC.
The Association of Mature American Citizens is the conservative voice for Americans 50 and older. AMAC is fighting for the values that you hold dear. Join today. Together, we can write the course of America.
Applause is already underway at the New York Stock Exchange, which means we are a moment away from the opening bell and the market's officially opening for the day. We're keeping an eye out to see exactly how things shape up as we begin this Friday of trading. So there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. As promised, the bell is ringing, which means the markets are now opening. The first sales are being made there on the market floor. Here's a quick look at how things are looking. The Dow is up right now. The rest of the board kind of a mixed bag. The S&P 500 and the NASDAQ in the red, and as you can see, only really one blemish there at the bottom of our screen. But hopefully it will be ultimately a good day for those of you who are trading. You can get out there and make a little bit of money in the markets. A new year means new financial goals, like making sure that your savings are secure and diversified. Here's a question for you, though. Will this be the first year that you finally listen to us here on Real America's Voice and talk to someone over at the Birch Gold Group? They're really good people, and we appreciate their educational approach to investing and their understanding of macroeconomics. There are forces out there pushing the dollar lower and gold higher, and that's why they believe that every American should own physical gold. Until January 30th, which is today, if you are a first-time gold buyer, the Birch Gold Group is offering a rebate of up to $10,000 on qualifying purchases. In order to claim eligibility and start the process, text the word America to the number 989898. The Birch Gold can help you roll an existing IRA or 401k into an IRA in gold, and you're still eligible for a rebate of up to $10K. So make right now your first time to buy gold and take advantage of a rebate of up to $10,000 when you buy by the end of the day. Again, text the word America to the number 989898 and claim your eligibility today. Again, text the word America to the number 989898. You just have hours left to take advantage of the rebate. Still to come here on American Sunrise, Border Czar Tom Homan rolling out some changes for future ICE operations in Minnesota. We'll break it all down for you ahead.
Minnesota's headlines are getting wild. Tim Walz and Ilhan Omar are being accused of massive fraud, and it's so bad, all you can do is laugh at this point. So from Real America's Music, the label that brought you the #1 hit, Anthem of the Free, comes a brand new song from singer-songwriter Natasha Owens, The Somali Waltz. Let's make the music industry mad and run this to #1. Scan the QR code or search The Somali Waltz on iTunes and buy it right now. The Somali Waltz, available everywhere.
Dancing to the Somali Waltz, and coming soon to a state near you. New name, same tune, the Somali Waltz.
This holiday season, Real America's Voice is proud to partner with our friends at Angel Studios for a special giveaway you won't want to miss. As they launch season 2 of their hit series Homestead, we're giving you the chance to win an exclusive Homestead hat absolutely free. Everyone who becomes an Angel Guild member using our link is automatically entered to the contest. When you join, you're supporting meaningful pro-American storytelling, and you're supporting RAV at the same time. Scan the QR code on your screen right now, or text the word RAV Angel to 75802. After you scan or text, make sure you follow the steps provided. When you complete the steps and join the Angel Guild, you'll be automatically entered to win that exclusive Homestead hat, a perfect holiday gift for yourself or someone you love.
Be one of the first 50 people to sign up and win a hat automatically. Hurry while there's still time.
So scan that QR code or text RAV Angel to 75802. Happy holidays from all of us at RAV. This holiday season, Real America's Voice is proud to partner with our friends at Angel Studios for a special giveaway you won't want to miss. As they launch season 2 of their hit series Homestead, we're giving you the chance to win an exclusive Homestead hat absolutely free. Everyone who becomes an Angel Guild member using our link is automatically entered to the contest. When you join, you're supporting meaningful pro-American storytelling, and you're supporting RAV at the same time. Scan the QR code on your screen right now, or text the word RAVAngel to 75802. After you scan or text, make sure you follow the steps provided. When you complete the steps and join the Angel Guild, you'll be automatically entered to win that exclusive Homestead hat, a perfect holiday gift for yourself or someone you love.
Be one of the first 50 people to sign up and win a hat automatically. Hurry while there's still time.
So scan that QR code or text RAVAngel to 75802. Happy holidays from all of us at RAV.
All right, welcome back, everybody, to American Sunrise. I'm David Brody. Thanks for joining us this morning. We invite you, by the way, to join the conversation on Getter, Rumble. Time now to take the political pulse of America. The Beat today happening live in Minneapolis right now. Let's go to Ben Bergquam, who is on the streets of Minneapolis. Protests behind him. Ben, it is freezing out there. Give us the latest. My goodness.
Yeah, it's freezing. You know, I've said this for a while. Minneapolis is the worst I've seen all over the country, and it's this weird combination, but it's crazy. It's so cold. I don't know if they're protesting because they're sick of ice. It's so freaking cold in the winter, or if they actually know what they're protesting for. But we got several hundred protesters behind me this morning. This has become the No Kings has morphed into the basically boycott Fridays, don't go to work. Shut down businesses. And so this is the start of it. We're at the Whipple building, the ice facility here, just outside of Minneapolis and St. Paul. And you can see several hundred people behind me. There is a police presence here. And so, hopefully it's not going to get violent. But ironically, you actually have union, some of the guys, if you want to zoom in there, Will, you have union peacekeepers in some of the yellow vests, which is, I don't know, I guess we've replaced the police officers with union peacekeepers. You can see the new Somali flag here. It's just quite a combination of things going on.
Hey, Ben, did you get a chance to do some ride-alongs yet? Or are you going to do that? Or what's the deal? You've done ride-alongs before with Homan and the guys.
Yeah, we started actually, I was here the first week of the operations when the operations kicked off here last month. And I was just with Homan yesterday. It's a very fluid situation right now, as you guys can imagine, with the changeover and with everything that's going on the street. So very likely we will be, but I can't talk about it yet. So we'll just wait and see.
Yeah, and you mentioned fluid, and I think that's the key thing. What is happening there? Are you getting any sense at all as to whether or not Fry and Walz are truly going to cooperate? We've heard about the Attorney General Ellison. I don't trust any of them. You don't trust any of them. But the question is, Homan says we've made some great progress. Well, I wonder how much. I mean, he's a straight shooter, so I know he's trying to be a bit diplomatic to try to tone it down. But I'm wondering if you think there's really going to be any progress here about letting ICE get into the local jails. But as you mentioned yesterday, that could be a problem in and of itself if they're having to do a foot chase afterwards.
Yeah. No, look, I don't trust him at all. And I honestly, I don't think Homan does either. I can't put words in his mouth, but he's a very smart guy. He's worked with a lot of really bad guys, and he knows how to read people. And so I have no doubt he doesn't either. And it's one of those things, you trust but verify, the old Reagan model. The sense I got yesterday from Tom was that we're working on getting some solutions, and it really feels like this is kind of the last ditch effort for places like Minneapolis if they don't get it together, because we already have Guard, and it sounds like they're potentially ready to deploy Marines out here. People have been calling for the Insurrection Act. I think it should have been called for a long time ago, but we're kind of waiting and seeing. And I think this is the straw, the carrot rather than the stick approach initially. And if this doesn't work, then the stick comes. So we'll see.
Let me ask you, Ben. Let me ask you the uncomfortable MAGA question, which is, MAGA. A lot of MAGA want all the folks deported. Okay, so but here's the deal: you got Kristi Noem and Corey Lewandowski, who's an advisor over at DHS, and Stephen Miller basically going with the quantity approach. In other words, yeah, let's get a lot of them. Let's go. And Holman seems to be more on the target, the worst of the worst. Is there there seems to be a difference of opinion within the administration. My sources are telling me that. What are you hearing, Ben?
Well, I've seen both. So it's, I would say, not a difference of opinion, but an adjustment of tactics depending on what you're seeing on the ground. And so when the operations first started a year ago, we were in those first operations with Tom Homan in Chicago. It was the worst of the worst, all targeted, going after these bad guys. Well, quickly we found out in sanctuary jurisdictions, you're going to have cops obstructing you. You're going to have the locals obstructing you. We found out all about these rapid response groups. And so ICE changed tactics and brought more Border Patrol resources and all of the government approach. And they started going after some of the other targets as well, going into known communities, sanctuary communities, and doing both. They've never changed the worst of the worst approach. They've never changed the going after the targeted enforcement, but they've added these other layers to try to basically outwit the traitors and these communist mayors and governors who have every single step that they make, they try to make it harder for them. So that's the distinction is it's two different tactics, but they're both part of the same mission. I hope we don't stop doing both. That's my concern is I don't think we shouldn't stop prioritizing the worst of the worst, but we also shouldn't stop going in because it's not just the rapists and murderers that need to go. It's the people that are stealing your health care and stealing your jobs and stealing your kids' education. It's, even if they're so-called law-abiding illegals, which is an oxymoron, they're still taking resources from American citizens and they still don't have a right to be in our country.
Wow. Ben Bergquam, just get warm and gargle tonight. We appreciate it. Thanks so much for being here.
My pleasure, guys.
All right. The streets of Minneapolis. My goodness. We're everywhere this morning. Gina, over to you.
All right. Thanks, David. The truth about the 2020 election back in the spotlight. Earlier this week, federal agents served a search warrant at Fulton County's election office in Georgia, seizing hundreds of boxes of ballots as part of a Justice Department investigation into potential voter fraud. The move marks a major development in long-standing questions raised by President Trump. Here's what happened when Fulton County Commissioner Dana Barrett was confronted by podcaster David Cate on this.
We went around Fulton County the last few weeks, and we see that people are currently registered to vote in places like empty lots, homeless shelters that closed 10 years ago. What would you do if you become Secretary of State to address that?
I'm not going to reply to conspiracy theories.
It's not conspiracy. It's you can currently go on the voter rolls, purchase them for $45, and go there with us. We will gladly take you if you want to go to. I
appreciate what you're saying. I'm not going to respond to conspiracy theories.
How is that a conspiracy theory? It's an active voter rolls. If you're going to be running for Secretary of State, you're in charge of maintaining the voter rolls. Don't you care about if people are registered to vote from empty lots?
Thank you for your questions. I appreciate it.
Joining us now with reaction, host of Cowboy Logic, right here on RAV, Donna Fiducia. Good morning, Donna. Many Americans have been waiting for something like this for years. What is your take on what's happening in Fulton County at this point?
Yeah, just trying to prove that 2020 was a coup, and it was a coup. I'm sorry. That's Jason Frazier and David Cate, and we have Jason actually on the show tomorrow, and actually throughout the weekend on Cowboy Logic for a full hour, talking about all the places where the two of them have found registered voters under bridge abutments, empty lots. I mean, it's insane. But the problem, really, Dr. Gina, is these ballots were unprotected for the last 5 years. Let's be honest. And we've had 2 elections since. So who knows what they did to screw around with them. And the problem is Brad Ratzenberger, who we call Ratzassbooger, I'm sorry, he's running for governor. The Secretary of State. Well, that's what he is. The Secretary of State is in charge of all these elections. Don't you notice the oddities that we have in Georgia, Minnesota, Michigan, Arizona, Wisconsin, and Colorado? All come down to the Secretary of State. It's like the fox is watching the henhouse. And Ratzassbooger wants to run for governor. He is running for governor. It's insane. But notice who's quiet. Brian Kemp, AG Chris Carr, former Secretary of State Gabe Sterling, his assistant Jordan Fuchs, Dukes. She's the one who taped that illegal phone call across state lines with Donald Trump right after the election of 2020, when Trump said, can you find 11,000 votes? He didn't say that. He's saying you've had hundreds of thousands of illegal votes. Chances are 11,000 with the difference might be different, might have a different outcome. And that is the whole big problem. Democrat or Republican, it's about clean votes, cleaning the voter rolls. And if anyone loses, it's the voter, because our legal votes are being washed out. Don't you find it odd how suddenly, with what's going on in Minneapolis and all around, we're finding billions and billions of dollars of fraud has turned into, we want ICE abolished and we want illegals to be able to vote. That's what Lindsey Graham's pushing for. Ugh, it's frustrating.
All right, just for good measure, one more time. John, what?
Rat's ass booger.
That's great. I'm sorry. I think that's hilarious. All right, Donna, now that I've gotten amused and I've done that for myself, let's talk about some other news. President Trump has just named the latest fraud czar, the first ever fraud czar. It's Colin McDonald. What do you make all of this? By the way, Colin McDonald is supposed to be prosecuting any misappropriation of federal resources and that kind of thing. What do you make of the appointment and the fact that there is now a fraud czar?
Well, I guess it's layer after layer. I mean, I kind of think that the Department of Justice could have done this on its own without appointing another person. Okay. But, all the help is greatly needed. And look what's going on in California. President Trump essentially has taken over what's going on with the Pacific Palisades. This is what hopefully this guy will look into, too. Taking out the rebuilding of the Pacific Palisades, where they had $100 million. They had a Live Aid type thing, and nobody knows where the money went. Although I think Gavin Newsom probably does know that. But, it should be called the anti-fraud appointment, I think, not the fraud appointment, because this is what we're finding out. It's our tax dollars working against us, billions and billions. I think Minnesota is just the tip of the spear. We've seen it's going to Ohio. We've seen it's gone back into Atlanta. Billions of dollars in suitcases being sent to Somalia. Who's it funding there? And how does Ilhan Omar suddenly become worth $30 to $40 million when she was in debt when she took office? I think all these lawmakers ought to be audited, but that's another story. But I'm glad, because we need to look into this anti-fraud situation.
You ever been in one of those situations, Donna, where you're sitting there and you just really want a good comeback at somebody, but it's just not quite coming to you? Next time I'm calling you.
Yes.
Next time I'm calling you.
She's from Jersey. You don't mess with her.
She's got it going on. Donna Fiducia, thank you for joining us this morning.
Okay, we'll see you this weekend on Cowboy Logic.
Absolutely. Coming up.
Thanks, Donna.
What's really in the tea that you're drinking? It could be something actually good for your body. We're spilling tea after the break. Don't go away.
In Mogadishu, Minnesota, you might have heard there's quite a load of.
This holiday season, Real America's Voice is proud to partner with our friends at Angel Studios for a special giveaway you won't want to miss. As they launch season 2 of their hit series Homestead, we're giving you the chance to win an exclusive Homestead hat absolutely free. Everyone who becomes an Angel Guild member using our link is automatically entered to the contest. When you join, you're supporting meaningful pro-American storytelling, and you're supporting RAV at the same time. Scan the QR code on your screen right now, or text the word RAVAngel to 75802. After you scan or text, make sure you follow the steps provided. When you complete the steps and join the Angel Guild, you'll be automatically entered to win that exclusive Homestead hat, a perfect holiday gift for yourself or someone you love.
Be one of the first 50 people to sign up and win a hat automatically. Hurry while there's still time.
So scan that QR code or text RAVAngel to 75802. Happy holidays from all of us at RAV. This holiday season, Real America's Voice is proud to partner with our friends at Angel Studios for a special giveaway you won't want to miss. As they launch season 2 of their hit series Homestead, we're giving you the chance to win an exclusive Homestead hat absolutely free. Everyone who becomes an Angel Guild member using our link is automatically entered to the contest. When you join, you're supporting meaningful pro-American storytelling, and you're supporting RAV at the same time. Scan the QR code on your screen right now, or text the word RAVAngel to 75802. 75-802. After you scan or text, make sure you follow the steps provided. When you complete the steps and join the Angel Guild, you'll be automatically entered to win that exclusive homestead hat, a perfect holiday gift for yourself or someone you love.
Be one of the first 50 people to sign up and win a hat automatically. Hurry while there's still time.
So scan that QR code or text RAVAngel to 75802. Happy holidays from all of us at RAV.
Let's spill some tea.
Let's Spill Some Tea is sponsored by Artillery Tea Company. It's a veteran-owned, patriotic tea brand that delivers premium whole leaf tea in biodegradable sachets that brew twice as strong. All right, Patriots, look, if you love great tea on your terms, check out the Patriots Brew Club for automatic shipments that you control. You can also cancel or swap flavors at any time with no commitments, and you'll get free shipping on every order, tiered discounts up to 20%, and free milestone rewards along the way. Brew strong, stay patriotic, and head on over to artillerytco.com right now. Click Join the Patriots Brew Club to get started. All right, let's bring in Mike Britton. He, of course, is one of the co-founders of Artillery Tea Company. Mike, always good to see you, my friend. Give us the skinny here on this Patriots Brew Club. How exactly does it work? What are the benefits it offers as opposed to just kind of going in and willy-nilly ordering some of the flavors that people might want?
Yeah, we've been working on this for a while, Terrance. It's called the Patriots Brew Club, like you said, and it's a brand new subscription program we're offering. So something we're trying to do, of course, is to offer a premium product, help veterans and first responders, offer an America First tea option for everybody. And not only America First, but, you know, a MAHA option too, Make America Healthy Again. We don't have chemicals in our tea bags, and we use whole leaves, and we use only organic ingredients and all that. But the Patriots Brew Club in particular, we wanted to start trying to build a community as well of like-minded people. And we wanted to offer something that's high value, like a good experience for our current customers, to start trying to sort of build that community of people that are America First and want to help support veterans and first responders. So this is the result of that work. We did the Patriots Brew Club for tier discounts up to 20%, free shipping on all orders, and free milestone rewards along the way. So at shipments 2, 4, 6, and 12, you'll get a free reward. The program before, Terrance, was just a simple subscribe and save 15%, but we wanted to offer more of a true America First experience with our subscriptions program.
Hey, Mike, I've heard about a precision sheet, and quite honestly, I was scratching my head. I was like, I have no clue what that is. Can you break it down for me? What is this precision sheet I keep hearing about?
Yeah, so tea brews a little different than coffee, right? Maybe I'm brewing coffee wrong, but in my opinion, when you brew coffee, it's kind of like one temperature, one steeping time, you know, like it's more consistent. But with tea, we offer black tea, green tea, and herbal tea. They all brew a little different. So different temperatures, different steeping times for each kind. And it can get a little complex, especially if you want to get the maximum volume out of your sachet. We say you can brew 2 cups for every sachet. I've heard some people that with different brew instructions get 4 cups out of one of our sachets, but the standard here is 2. And so we wanted to come out with like a quick reference guide to help people get the maximum flavor out. So if you brew too cold, you won't get enough of the flavorful nutritional compounds out. If you brew too hot, you get too much of the bitter. So we wanted to have a sheet that strikes that balance of maximum flavor, maximum nutritional profile, and maximum number of cups per sachet. So we come up with this precision brewing cheat sheet. We have it in a magnet here, actually. And for today, we're going to do anyone that's new that joins the Patriots Brew Club today, we're going to include a free precision brewing cheat sheet magnet with your order. And so each order will come with this quick reference guide. It's just short and sweet and to the point. You know, black tea, about 203 for 2 minutes for the first cup and a little longer for the second cup to get consistent flavor, maximum nutritional profile, and zero waste for the product that you're getting.
All right. Hey, Mike, just really quickly, and this is just off the top of my mind, I'm wondering if you guys have been able to identify characteristics, if you will, a profile, if you will, of the people who join the Patriots Brew Club. Who is your typical Patriots Brew Club member? Have you guys been able to identify that by chance?
Yeah, the typical member subscribes for what their actual usage is, right? And so we're offering maximum flexibility in this plan. You mentioned you can cancel anytime, you can swap flavors anytime. You can also choose whatever frequency you want. So we offer every month, every 2 months, and every 3 months. The average subscriber subscribes every 2 months to multiple items, and so if you're not going through 60 cups of tea a month, you can select a different frequency. It cuts down on your monthly bill and also keeps you steady and supplied the whole time. And so we found since we launched the Brew Club that more folks are subscribing more for what they actually use, and we're offering a plan that has that flexibility to accommodate that.
Mike Britton brewing at 206 degrees this morning. Always good to see you, my friend.
Thanks, Terrance. Appreciate it.
All right, we'll talk soon. Coming up, we're going to be standing by with the story that we're all keeping an eye on, but I can't speak this morning. Specifically, one that I'm watching. It's coming up after the break, and by then I'll also get my mind to go with my mouth.
This holiday season, Real America's Voice is proud to partner with our friends at Angel Studios for a special giveaway you won't want to miss. As they launch season 2 of their hit series Homestead, we're giving you the chance to win an exclusive Homestead hat absolutely free. Everyone who becomes an Angel Guild member using our link is automatically entered to the contest. When you join, you're supporting meaningful pro-American storytelling, and you're supporting RAV at the same time. Scan the QR code on your screen right now, or text the word RAV Angel to 75802. After you scan or text, make sure you follow the steps provided. When you complete the steps and join the Angel Guild, you'll be automatically entered to win that exclusive Homestead hat, a perfect holiday gift for yourself or someone you love.
Be one of the first 50 people to sign up and win a hat automatically. Hurry while there's still time.
So scan that QR code or text RAV Angel to 75802. Happy holidays from all of us at RAV. This holiday season, Real America's Voice is proud to partner with our friends at Angel Studios for a special giveaway you won't want to miss. As they launch season 2 of their hit series Homestead, we're giving you the chance to win an exclusive Homestead hat absolutely free. Everyone who becomes an Angel Guild member using our link is automatically entered to the contest. When you join, you're supporting meaningful pro-American storytelling, and you're supporting RAV at the same time. Scan the QR code on your screen right now, or text the word RAV Angel to 75802. After you scan or text, make sure you follow the steps provided. When you complete the steps and join the Angel Guild, you'll be automatically entered to win that exclusive Homestead hat, a perfect holiday gift for yourself or someone you love.
Be one of the first 50 people to sign up and win a hat automatically. Hurry while there's still time.
So scan that QR code or text RAV Angel to 75802. Happy holidays from all of us at RAV.
Welcome back to American Sunrise. I'm Dr. Gina. It is Freedom Friday. It is Peppy Friday. We'll get to that. Thanks for being with us. It is time now for the one to watch. Terrance, what's your eye on today?
Oh, I've got my eye on many things, but you guys know I'm a fiscal conservative. I like to deal with money. So the first thing that comes to mind is this shutdown deal, or what many people are calling a deal. To me, it feels more like a Band-Aid, not necessarily a fix. But here's the long and short of it. President Trump, Senate Democrats say that they've struck a deal to keep most of the government open through September. The Department of Homeland Security, however, gets just a 2-week extension in order to buy lawmakers more time to negotiate over ICE and Homeland Security funding. It also delays a real resolution, though, and it kicks the can down the road yet again. The White House is calling the deal bipartisan. However, critics on both sides are saying it merely postpones a showdown that's all but guaranteed to happen when DHS funding finally does run out again in February, or 2 weeks from now, basically. With Republicans like Senator Lindsey Graham openly objecting and Democrats promising to block any bill without new guardrails on ICE, the real question now is how long until we're right back here again, David? And the second question I would add on that, how long until Congress really does its constitutional duty and simply just funds the government with these 12 appropriation bills in general? But I'll yield. I'll be quiet and get off of my soapbox and yield to you, David.